going live on YouTube right now, and you'll kind of be able to see the delay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Hello. Yep. See the delay. I'm author Elizabeth Ann West, and I have with me tonight as well.
Michelle Hinojosa. Hello, everyone.
Yay. Hello. I see Harper and Ingrid in the chat already. Fantastic. Wow. I got lucky last night. Lynn Jordan and Michelle were working with me in Zoom last night, and you guys, I have a generic sequence to make writing prompts for you, and then I'm also sharing with you a generic sequence to just boom, 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 write those scenes. We're going to be working in Baby Rexy tonight, and I'm going to try a different mode, so you're not going to be able to see our faces, but you'll be able to hear our voices, and hopefully that'll make it easier for everyone to see. So without further ado, I'm going to just jump and do a cinema layout. Ta-da! The cinema layout. I'll also go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So if you could let us know in the chat how this looks, and I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit more so everybody can see everything. Okay. This link, by the way, is usually in the description of your YouTube channel. If not, I'll also go ahead and add it into the chat real fast because we're cool like that. All right. How is everyone? I'll let everyone kind of get a chance to pop in. Hey, Leland. Welcome. Welcome. Hi, Dana Michaels. Hey, Quinn. Hi, Ingrid. Hi, Harper again. Okay. I think we're ready to go. How are you doing tonight, Michelle?
I'm doing good. Ready to get started. This is exciting stuff.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to share with you is presents, because it wouldn't be Rexymas without presents, right? I did share these links already in your Discord. However, they're also on this. So there's the FFA Scene Writer. This is just a chat GPT. I'm sorry, it's this one right here. This is just a chat GPT that I created. If I was to go into the, edit the GPT, you can see the configurations. It has a lot of information here. This is actually designed to take a writing brief and write that scene. So this is one of the tools you can use if you want to do this manually, what we're going to do. So let me just give you a quick sneak peek here. Let me go back. Yeah, so I'm in this. It's designed to read this scene writing brief and write that scene. So you're going to see some prompting tonight to write scene briefs. Let me go grab a scene brief real fast because I have a bunch of them. So we'll just go ahead and grab scene 1. We are going to be working tonight in the Orc Mafia romance. It's all our favorites. So I'm just going to grab this scene writing brief right here. Just so you know how many words it is, this is 801 words. So I'm going to come over to my, my Future Fiction Academy scene writer, and I'm going to say, write this scene for an Orc Mafia romance novel. And this is, about working manually, if you want to work manually. Now, I used the artificial intelligence to create these scene writing briefs in a sequence last night. And you'll see right here, it is literally writing scene 1. It's boss, the silver bells won't know what hit him, he boasted. And we're gonna review these writing scenes, so hold tight. I just wanted to give you guys these links so that if you don't have access to Rexy or something like that, you do have access to the Future Fiction Academy scene writer. And if you want to do this manually before you want to join us and check out Rexy, you can. It's not as good as Rexy will write it, I'll be honest with you, with some of the models. Like if I highlight this right now, I think this is probably about 600 words, but let's see. Yeah, 500 words. So there you go. I have a suspicion. I can't say this is necessarily true. It's just a hunch. Has anyone noticed that GPT-4, etc., has been writing shorter and shorter? Like it's only been writing about 500 words back in responses. Am I crazy on that? Michelle, have you noticed that with GPT-4 lately?
I've been having some trouble. I kind of backtracked to the 3.516K myself recently.
Yeah. So I mean, I could go great and use a chat methodology, chain of thought, and I can say, write that scene even longer. Aim for 2,000 words. It won't hit 2,000 words, but that'll sometimes get almost 1,000 if you ask it for that. So it'll write that scene again, and this one it's actually going to give me 2 choices, so I'll get to choose between them. I think this is actually a test between Turbo and regular GPT-4. My guess is GPT-4 Turbo's on the left, as evidenced by how fast that puppy's going. I mean, this isn't even a race. Are you seeing this?
It's just a little bit faster. Tortoise and the hare, maybe they will catch up.
Oh my goodness gracious. Is the other one still going? Okay, it's trying.
I think it fell asleep.
Bless its heart. I think we know which one we're going to say we prefer. Oh my goodness, it is still going. How you doing up there?
Is it
Oh
still
my,
even up there?
yeah, it's still there. It's running. It's running.
I
It
think it's
actually,
walking.
they got to the same length. This one was way slower. Let's see what the writing looks like. Because I take it very seriously when they say you can choose which one. I like the writing of the first one already. It just reads better to me. I think it's a personal taste, but I mean, I like this one with the clinking of glasses. Ugh, this is so hard. There's good things in both. Oh, but here we had the clinking of glasses. So it's close, but this one is a little bit too ploppy to me.
The first one
Right?
feels more descriptive. It gives more of a visual, I think.
Yeah, the first one I think is a little bit smoother. His face, marked by deep scars and a stern, unyielding expression, was known and respected by all who thrived in the city's underworld. His eyes, dark and penetrating. Cool. Krishka, yeah, this is just kind of longer, although it is more of an info dump. But yeah, we'll just go with this one. I like that one better. Okay. The key thing about writing scene briefs and why I like scene briefs over beats. Okay, because I helped innovate this idea of commands and scene beats and stuff. I always said that scene beats weren't enough. You have to have what happens and how. These new writing briefs that I've been working with for a couple of months now, it gives a lot more richer details about how the scene should write. What do you think, Michelle? You got to see some of these last night.
I think it was a night and day difference. I fell in love with what you were doing last night. I'm ready to start doing to grab it and just kind of take the reins and run with it.
Oh, cool. So yeah, it gives you information. It gives you a lot deeper information, and then it naturally is putting this section in there called key dialogue. This key dialogue right here, and it says, "You're not just muscle, Garrick. You've got the eyes of a hawk and the subtlety of a shadow." This is what the AI wrote for the key dialogue. You could change it, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. You can change that key dialogue, and if you say key dialogue, guess what? That signals that it has to be in the scene, and you'll see it's actually down here. Right here, you're not just muscle, and it puts it right in there. So this is where you can really kind of be creative director. The process I'm going to show you tonight, it's very much, your actors are on stage and you are the director and you're going to be able to go, cut, no, change that, don't be a jerk, you do this more emotionally. Can I get more rain, please? Like, it's really the director aspect of constructing an entire story. So what do you think? I'm trying to, this is hard because we can't see each other's faces, but I wanted to give you a chance to chime in, Michelle.
No, I really like that. I'm curious. Can you add more than one to different sections, or you wouldn't be able to do? You'd have to go and then manually put it in there, wouldn't you?
What do you mean? For
As far as having more, having you have the one that automatically filled in the dialogue. Could you have multiples, like not just the one? Add like a second, a third, a fourth.
Oh yeah, you could add, look, because there's more dialogue in here. There's another one, so you can have as much key dialogue as you absolutely needed in the plot, in the scene. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So basically, if you think about the writing brief as kind of like the steering, the captain of the ship aspect of it, the directions, you have a lot more control over what the AI is going to write. It's going to write a richer scene for you.
That's huge.
Yep. So this is the manual tool for everybody who does not have access to Rexy. It's a free GPT. You do have to pay $20 a month to ChatGPT to use their GPTs. And you'll also get limited by how many messages per hour you get or all that jazz. But, I wanted to make it available for everybody so it is there and you can play with this. Is there any news in the chat by any chance?
There is nothing. Just people saying hi so far.
Oh, good. I'll keep saying hi. Hello, Rochelle. Hey, Jude, Susan, Beverly. Very cool. Okay. The other GPT that I gave you is the FFA Author Ally. And this one, last night, like I said, I was lucky for Lynn and Michelle to come in. And I'm learning about myself that I write best when I have like body doubles and stuff, like just people in the room with me. And I know this is common for a lot of people, but I wanted to create an AI that would do it. So I can be like, hey, I'm nervous that I'm writing live on YouTube tonight with AI. Can you give me a pep talk? And this little dinosaur ally is designed to basically make you feel better. You can also talk to it about what work you're working on.
It's cheaper than a therapist.
Yeah. So take a deep breath, trust in your abilities, and let the magic of the moment guide you. You're going to do great. May the tokens be chosen in your favor. XOXO Rexy. And the little picture on this is a little dino. If you come up to the front of it, about it. But it's really cool too. What's also great is he's also designed to help you with your projects, help you stay on track in your business goals, and also watch this. He can also search the internet. Any new information about Google's new Gemini AI? So you'll watch him and he'll say he's doing research with Bing right now. He's searching for the new Gemini latest news. He's visiting the blog, and he's designed to be able to go out to the internet so that this particular FFA author ally, little Rexy guy, can also tell you, like, you can ask him, like, hey, what's new in AI right now? Probably best to be specific about keywords. He's just searching the internet, but it kind of gives you kind of a little bit of a semblance that you have this little writing assistant that's doing your work for you. Go ahead.
In Notion, you actually have the scene writer and the ally. They're the same link.
Oh, my bad. I will.
Yeah,
so, I see that. I see that right there. Hold on.
Thank you for noticing that, Beverly.
Thank you. We do things live. It's not a problem, I promise. There we go. There's the author ally link. So you guys have it. And what's also really cool about this is you'll notice that you guys will remember for a while there, ChatGPT could not go to the internet. Now it can. And these little quotation marks here are the actual citations it used for its answer. So these assistants, these little GPTs, are very, very powerful. So I built these two. I hope you guys have fun with them. They weren't very challenging here. And then there's also links inside of the response. So if I grab this quick search, it actually takes me to a search on bing.com. Now, obviously, all the search is going to go through Microsoft because they have the people who are, they bought into OpenAI and everything like that. But I think it's pretty funny, pretty neat that you can just build that into an assistant now. Applications for these things. To build one of these, if you want to build one, you just click on here and what is it? I think it's under one of these. I think it's Explore. You click Explore, and then you can go create a GPT. When you click a GPT, then it'll walk you through how to do it. You can choose for it to be able to scour the internet. You could make it specialize in, say, historical research or contemporary news research, or find information for you, for police officers or something. Like, you can really kind of customize it to be designed specifically for your writing assistant needs. Okay, so that was the gifts, and now I can close these out. That wasn't the main topic for tonight, but I wanted to share those because I think that they're fun. Okay, so let's talk about what's next. This is all Rexy, and I've shown you guys the stuff that you're going to learn today from our Notions and stuff. You can do it manually, and these other AIs, you're just going to have to copy and paste ad nauseum. But we don't do that in the FFA. We use our Notion slots. We use our blackjacks. Tonight, I'm going to be working in Baby Rexy, which if you see right here, it says babyrex.railway.app. All of the members of Future Fiction Academy do have access to Baby Rexy. The features I'm about to show you will be coming to production Rexy very soon. So one big change, I'm going to just point it out now, so when y'all don't have it in Rexy, you're not like, where is it? One of the biggest new changes is on our Elements panel here. And if you click End Slots, now this is where you put your Notion page in, and you can load and refresh the page very quickly. You'll notice there's no more Notion slots over here. I do have my regular Rexy open right now, and here's regular Rexy. You can see with regular Rexy, we have Notion slots over there. Notion slots has moved to the Elements panel under End Slots, and so it's very handy there for when you're working with WordBanger. In its place is now the LLM Tuner. And for those who got to watch anything from Club Strat last week on Fine-Tunes, this is the thing that will build your Fine-Tunes for GPT 3.5 16K. It'll also make files that will be also congruent with GPT-4 Turbo and GPT-4 once fine-tuning of those models becomes publicly available. Right now, I believe it's only available to enterprise clients. But you put your system prompt in, You put your user prompt in, whatever you're prompting, and then this assistant input right here. This is where you put the response you want the AI to give you. Now, this could just be a response from a more a smarter AI, like you have it write a scene in Claude, and then you take that scene and you clean it up, and then you put it in here, and you're teaching GPT 3.5 how to write like Claude with a certain persona or something. It'll build out these little bubbles on the left-hand side. I'm just going to do a test so that you guys can see. If I do a test and click submit, I'll get a little bubble right here, and it'll start building out my JSON-L file right here, which is very complicated coding. Now, this doesn't look very complicated, but once you start putting in lines and paragraphs and crap, like watch what happens if I make this a paragraph. I'll just grab some of this because this is a hot mess. This is a good example of a hot mess to try to put into JSON-L. If I put that into here and it's got these little brackets and everything and click submit, now if I look at my file, does everyone see how I have a lot of weird formatting in there with the /n's? That's to escape out those characters and things like that for the JSON-L scripting, or the way that the coding has to look, the markup or whatever. Leland can tell me in chat. Leland, is JSON-L, is it just a format like markup, or is it actually considered code? That's the question. But this will actually put it in the format for you that you can then just very quickly generate your 10 examples or more. And down at the bottom here, you can download that file. You can upload it to OpenAI. There's a whole video on it from last week when I did live. But this tool is now in Baby Rexy integrated, and it is coming to the regular Rexy here pretty soon.
So Leland has his answer. He said it is a code way to transmit data.
Okay. So it's a code way to transmit data. There you go. It's not a markup language. It's not code. It's a code way to transmit data. All I know is before I had this tool built by our wonderful Joseph, I tried to put stuff in this format inside of, what is it called? I have a Visual Studio Code or whatever. I failed miserably, people. So I like my Dino Trainer. I will also say, like, let's say, for example, you need to change this. If you click one of these buttons, the bubbles, I call them, it reloads that information into the box so you can make a change. So let's say I don't want those hashtags in there. When I click submit, if I was to come back to the JSON, oh, that created a second one, a third one. So I can just delete my second one because that was the broken one. And this one is the one that I took the hashtags out. And if I come back over to my file now, you'll see that there is no hashtags in front of scene tone. If I could find scene tone, here's scene tone right here. It's up at the top. There's no hashtags there. There's still hashtags in front of scene objective because I left those hashtags in there. But if I was to take those hashtags out too, excuse me, it won't in real time take them out. You're going to have to literally click submit and then delete the one that you were fixing. It's a little bit wonky, but it's a lot better than anything else. And now you can see there's no hashtags. All the hashtags are gone.
We got more smart words from Leland.
More smart words from Leland?
Yes, he said JSON counts as its own language. It is a data formatting and representation tool. Most, I can't see because most modern programming languages have built-in JSON parsing tools.
Yes, and JSON-L specifically allows you to stream the data. And JSON-L it's different than JSON prompting, but JSON script, by the way. It's not the same. It's a very specific formatting. You can find that information out on the OpenAI help file for the for fine tunes. Okay, so we'll move on from fine tunes. Let's get into sequencing. Come over to my word banger. Okay, for this, we're going to need to go to Notion. You all have in your link here access to this generic sequence novella 30K. Now, the information in here is the Orc Mafia romance, and we're gonna go through that real fast. But I'm going to explain the overall kind of, what is it called? The overall structure of it, if you will. Okay. So I'm going to go into my auto write, and you're going to immediately see that I have multiple notions. Notion 21's page. This Notion 21 version 1. This is just like a blank one, just so that I have the 21 spots. And I want to show you guys a real quick way that you can make a Notion 21. This is the fastest way I found a way to make 21 things so that I have my placeholders as I need them. You literally create a page and then title it an N. Then come over here. And if you hover over the dominoes, or the little like 6 buttons right there, the duplicate, it'll say is, in my case of Mac, it's a Command D. Yours is probably, if you're on PC, it's probably Control D, but I'm not sure. Whatever it says the shortcut is here for PC. And all you do is just hold that down. So I'm going to do Command D and watch. It's going to make them all for me, and it's going to number them for me too. So voila, there's 21. And I can go ahead and delete this first one. And that, oh, I accidentally duplicated it. My bad. That is how you very quickly generate a Notions 21 page that has all the 21 pages. So you have placeholders for where you need things skipped or to hold out, to hold that space. The other methodology that I'm using as well that's important is, let me go to our final lab notes real fast. You want to go to the December 2nd lab and watch that lab if you are unfamiliar with this methodology that I'm going to be doing, which is this methodology here. So actually, maybe I can copy this and bring it to here, because that'll be a really, yeah, that's good. Okay, so this is Notion slots proposed structures for looping. Okay. I'm not going to reteach all of that stuff, but the information, the important thing here is that by allowing yourself to stick with N1 through 10 about the static information, your N11 through 20 can become dynamic prompts. And what that looks like is we don't need this anymore. We just need, go back to GRUCIFIT. Go back to my superstructure and my generic sequence prompt. Okay. If you were to look at this one, which is to write scenes 1 through 10, you'll see my N11 right here has a page that's specific. And this is actually the scene 1 writing brief. Now, why do I want this as my N11 instead of my N1? Well, because when you're writing your blackjacks, you can only do 10 at a time right now. That's going to change in the new year. You're going to be able to do unlimited. You're going to be able to do unlimited Notion pages too. But we're not quite there yet. When I come over to my blackjacks, and let me go right here to the writing brief one. It's going to say, read the following scene brief. I don't even have to say what scene brief it is, because at the beginning of all of my Notion pages, remember I always put Tupperware containers, and when I wrote these scene briefs for me, it put the Tupperware container of scene 1 in front of each one of them. And what that allows me to do is that this sequence right here will always write scene 1 through 10. And then with 11 through 20, when I make another Notion page that has 11 through 20, scenes 11 through 20 as the Notion slots 11 through 20, it'll still correlate to this. I don't have to constantly update my numbers. The other thing I did was, I thought I changed all of these. Oh, I did not. Okay, my bad. There's a little bit more things I have to fix for the sequence, but I'll show you that in just a second. The other thing that I did here is I have an N9 in the bottom of all of these, and that is because if we have to tweak the prompt, it's a lot faster when we learn this. If we know it's going to go in the bottom of each box, it's a lot easier to go ahead and make that a Notion slot. So if I open up my N9, it'll say, now write that scene, write with a slow pace, a ton of dialogue and interaction between the characters, at least 3,000 words. If I'm working with this in my sequence and all of a sudden I'm not getting the results I need, and I realize I need to fix it and say, you know, I don't know, write with more contemporary writing, or make sure you're sticking to the details, something like that. Instead of having to update each one of those boxes, if I just update the prompt here, it will automatically populate each one of those boxes in the sequence for me. So it's using a global variable system without requiring you guys to code. Like, these are all just documents, and we understand documents, right? So anytime you see that N9 with curly brackets, it's calling back to just the words that are right here. I don't have this in a Tupperware container because it doesn't need to. It's literally instructions. It's not information that the AI needs to work with.
I love how much time this saves just with that alone.
Yeah, it really does go quick. Okay, let me check the chat real fast and see where we're at. I'm a little bit, okay, we're still on JSON. All right,
Yeah, we're good.
So let's back up now. And I'm going to stop the share for just a second. I'm going to go to just us for a minute. Okay. Whew. You guys are great staying with me here. Okay. I want to explain a little bit about the theory. So I'm working on, and I think we've cracked it, this idea that there's 3 main phases now for writing a book with Rexy if you want Rexy to do the most amount of AI help with you. Phase 1 is making sure all of your N1 through 10 elements are set. Your Notion 1, so that's genre, characters, setting, story world, writing style, outline, scene list. And I actually skipped outline for this example. I don't use the outline because my scene list was robust enough. And we're going to look at each one of those components in just a minute. So phase 1 that requires human input is working with the AI or just your own imagination and deciding the story world information that you want the LLM to extract from to make your writing briefs. Phase 2, and I'll show this a little bit. You run the sequences to make your writing briefs. So boom, 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 you get your writing briefs. Now you need to pause, and we're going to do this together. You need to look at those writing briefs and make sure that they make sense. Okay, that is your moment to be like, no, you got that wrong. Her eyes aren't green, they're blue. Or he doesn't say that. That's stupid dialogue. I want him to say this. So we're going to make a couple of those changes in just a second. And you'll also see me where there was actually a scene that it kind of got out of order, and we're going to fix that too. 24 and 25, the battle scenes. And then finally, the prompts run, and you get these scenes written for you. And then your third and final human input stuff is to read these scenes and validate them. And that's when you would be marking them up either inside of Notion or inside of Line Editor, inside of Rexy, or maybe you use Pseudo-Write or Novel Crafter, those kinds of tools, or Poe or Jasper even ChatGPT, whatever tool that you would take like some of your like finished writing and then you would like use AI to like clean up or add more information and stuff to. That's kind of like the post-production work. So if you think about it, pre-production, production, post-production, there's 3 main areas for the human to give input. The components of the story world and information. Then you have to check the writing briefs and make sure that they're good. And then finally, you check the final output. And by the way, last night when we got the writing scene brief prompt right, and it was just sequencing, 25 minutes to run 26 scene writing briefs. So it maybe took me about an hour or 2 to validate all the outline and everything like that. So it's pretty quick. Okay, so let me go ahead and share the screen again. Oh, Michelle, did you want to add anything?
I just think I find it amazing, just not only the amount of time being saved, but just the way it's being done. It makes it so much easier to actually process how to set everything up. And it makes, for me at least, it makes the story flow faster and a lot smoother.
Mm-hmm. I also feel like I have more control.
Yeah.
Like I'm not as beholden to the LLM for whatever it's going to create because it created that writing brief, but then I validated each one of those before it went to production, before it went into the scene. So I was like, yes, that dialogue, or no, that not that dialogue.
Yeah,
so
and I think that's important. Otherwise, you could just have a lot of drivel at the end and have wasted all that time and all those words when you could just pause between to actually do the changes, like you're saying.
I think that's what frustrates me too. There's times when I'm working with the LLM that I feel like I get lost in the sense that I'm so bogged down in like what was my original intent here? Like, where am I? Because it went so off on a tangent, and I have squirrel syndrome that I'm like, oh, we do need to explore this whole nother storyline with this bit character.
You have
like,
five different books. You're not even knowing the first
I'm
one.
committed now. I need to know. All right. So let me go ahead and bring back the computer. And let's go ahead and write those on the notes here. So I'm just going to share this so that you guys have it for your easy notes. And that is 3-phase writing is what I'm calling this with the AI if you're using Rexy. And that is phase 1, story information components. Phase 2 is running the validating, like, I guess this is, yeah, we'll call this pre-production. Pre-production. And I'll also put here, let me, you know what? Somebody else will clean this up prettier. I promise. I'm just the worst at it. This is like your N1 through N10, characters, story world, etc. And then I'm also going to put here that you're also going to want to validate your blackjack sequences. So this is also where you would do that too, kind of validation and set those up. And so we're going to do that. So we're going to do the last of our phase 2. And then we're in production mode here. And then production mode is kind of, I guess we're going to go, yeah, phase 2 production mode. And this is where we're using the LLM to iterate as fast as we can, because it is my position that I'm a better writer with AI assistance, believe it or not. Yes, I'm a good writer. If I just write myself and then I revise and I revise and revise, you know, the writing is good. My readers enjoy it, but I get there faster if I have a kind of a meh first draft from the LLM or a decent first draft and I'm just adding in extra human pizzazz and stuff to it, because it's pushing my boundaries as a writer. It's pushing me to really consider a lot more details than what I would. And, you know, there's a lot of writers in history who have done really well with collaborative writing. So production mode is phase 1, or I'm sorry, we'll go with phase 2A. These are your writing briefs. I think that writing briefs are superior to beats, 1000%. I will, right now, at this moment, 2023, and I'll let you guys decide by the end of the video if you agree. And then you human intervention, validate each writing brief. I use scenes. You could use chapters. I find that scenes work better. Phase 2B is actual scenes. And then we go into phase 3, which is post-production. And this is where human reads each scene and adds more writing to it, edits, etc., with AI or without AI. So that's the methodology. Now, the big question is, people always ask is like, how much time does this take? Because that's a good question. Last night, we were doing so many different things, and I can read as fast as it streams. Not everybody can do that, but I can. It takes me, I would say that your pre-production, this could be anywhere from a few hours to days. And the reason I say that is because how many of you have stories that you have to like percolate for a little while? Michelle, do you ever have stories that you're just kind of thinking about for a little bit?
I do, and one of the things that helps with that, with this as well, is just with some of the medical issues I have. Sometimes it takes me, months to even get the idea set up. But with AI, I could go back and forth to actually have it help me through the thought processes that I sometimes am lacking for that. So sometimes it takes me a little bit longer just because of other things. But the AI has 100% like lowered the amount of time it actually takes me, which is huge.
That's amazing. And I'm kind of the same way. Sometimes I have story ideas. Like my old way of writing, I would write all my ideas into a composition notebook, and then as they would come to me, and it would be slapdash, be all over the place. And usually I would write like a sketch outline, like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And I start writing the book, and I would always dictate, and then it would never fail. I would get halfway to the book, and whatever ending I had planned is changing now, because once I get to the middle of the book, I realize, oh, no, this isn't happening. This is changing. So then there's always a point in the middle, like right when I get about 30,000 words on a project, I have to like redo the whole story. And then I have to, once I get to about 40,000 words, then I realize like I have double or triple the amount of scenes planned than what's actually going to go in the book. And I'm like, don't need that scene, because now is the point where everybody's like jonesing for an ending. And these other scenes that I have planned, it's just like my darlings. It's like extra stuff that I wanted in there. So
that makes sense.
All right. So
Rochelle actually says she agrees that writing briefs are better because you don't just have the beats, but you can also tell it how to write, what tone to use, characters, internal monologue, motivation, goals, etc.
Yes, very much so. We're going to take a look at those. Today's depends on your speed. Okay, so there we go. So using this methodology, though, you could very easily have a novel in a week, for sure, using this. So we're going to move right into now looking at what these components should look like, because some of you have seen them many times. Some of you haven't seen them at all. So without further ado, I'm going to go to my Notion page. Y'all know me. This number right here, the 155, the 2664, that is the word count of that document. The reason I put those there is so that I can very quickly calculate. If I'm going to ask it to read N1 through N7, I can literally grab my phone, because we like it, you know, and I can go 155 plus 2664 plus 399 plus 2661 plus 220 plus 2914 for the scene list. And that's
brilliant.
That's 9,000 words. Now, immediately I can start going, okay, I can use 16K. I can use GPT 3.5 16K because 16,000 tokens is usually about 12,000 to 13,000 words. So if my prompt is 9,000 words, I have about 2,000 words space for the response. Does that make sense?
100%. I never even thought about doing it that way.
But
that's genius.
If I'm looking at these 9,000 words, can I use GPT-4? Not Turbo, just regular old 4. No.
No.
Because it's only 8,000 tokens, and that's way smaller than 9,000 words. So that would force me to go like, do I need writing style, or maybe I need to change my characters, or, you know, it forces me to make decisions about what model I'm going to use. Okay. So that's why I put the word counts in there. Now, let's take a look at some of these elements. Y'all know me. You know I love Tupperware containers. So Tupperware container is here. And, you know, I might, now that I'm looking at this was fine for when I was creating stuff. I'm looking at this right now, and it's like these stories often revolve around star-crossed lovers from different factions. And then it's got an orc enforcer and human detective. I actually don't want this information in here because I'm going to just have the different factions. I don't want the example because I don't want to confuse it. Like, I should have fixed that last night. That was bad on my part. You want to go through these things. When I say validate them before you run them, you want to make sure there's no extra information. You do not win by giving the AI extra information it does not need for the task. That will just confuse it. So I have a very in-depth, what is the genre? In this case, I wanted to describe what an orc mafia romance was, because there aren't orc mafia romances, and I don't think there's any in the training data either. So
I'd be surprised if there was.
Yeah. So we went ahead and kind of described what the heck this is. All right, let's take a look at our characters. This is kind of important. My characters are very Tupperware containered. So let me show you a little bit by coloring it, because you can color code it and that doesn't affect anything. So let me put yellow on characters, and then I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom. Ooh, that's bad on my part. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the end of the characters list. Actually, I'm going to fix that too. I'm going to Control X that and put that here. That was bad on my part. No wonder I was having a hard time bringing those in. And I'm going to put a yellow background. So I can see that tag goes with there. And then Garrick right here, he's my main character. We'll make him red. Actually, we'll make him green. He's an orc. So he's green. And then he actually doesn't end until right here. So that would actually tell me that any information I had about Garrick that was important, it needs to be between these two green tags. And you'll notice that there's a nested tag right here. So sample of Garrick dialogue. We'll go ahead and just color this green since it's a nested tag so I can see it. So here I have a nested tag basically showing that these are just examples of Garrick's dialogue. It also kind of gives examples of the writing, you know, showing, you know, how he speaks. So you'll see right here, he's using ya. So if you value your pathetic existence, I suggest you back off before it's too late. He's a little bit inspired, I guess, by Shrek in my world. You know, he's a little, I confuse orcs and ogres. Okay. I can't help it, but he's an orc. And so that's what he's doing. Now, Seraphina down here, you'll see she's got a nested tag as well. And these are all inside of the whole tag of characters. So here I'll go ahead and give her a pink background just because I like pink. and highlight this here. I'm not going to keep doing this, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes so that you guys can see that I do actually nest Tupperware containers inside of Tupperware containers. And you can do that. How many people have been doing this? Nesting Tupperware containers inside of Tupperware containers. I'll wait for that.
Definitely.
Hit in the chat.
Yeah,
and then
no one in the chat yet.
Yeah. And you'll see right here, she speaks very differently. And it's not just like she's speaking more, it's not that she's speaking more educated necessarily. I wanted her to speak more when I actually wrote the prompts for like come up with dialogue for her examples that I wanted to pick from. I wanted it to be poetic and inspired by nature and magic and natural elements when she speaks. And you see right here, behold the moon's gentle embrace, casting its ethereal glow upon us, revealing secrets veiled in the night. In the tapestry of our destinies woven. Yeah, so she's talking kind of poetically. And that is going to help readers and also the AI, because it's really important. This is one of the areas where I think the AI struggles, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong in the chat. But a lot of times when it's writing, have you noticed that it doesn't like differentiate between characters if you don't tell it to?
Yeah, sometimes I run into that as well.
Yeah, you're reading it and it just sounds like every character sounds the same.
They sound kind of robotic sometimes.
Yep. Grimgar, he's going to sound more like Garrick. They're in the same clan. But the prompt for him specifically, I said his language should always have violence in it. Some kind of violent component to it. And that kind of gets translated over. Clevin, and we'll go through. So this is just to show you how the characters were structured for this particular, for everything that I was doing here. Okay. Let me check the chat and see if there's any questions about that. I don't think there will be because many people have seen this over times. Okay, cool.
No questions. So.
Oh, but there's lots of things here from Rochelle.
Yeah, Rochelle said that in the character box she uses them, and she said the AI doesn't usually come up with the most conflicted next steps. It tries to resolve things early, so she lengthens it, so she introduces new levels of tension.
New levels of tension, very much so. Okay. So I'm not going to go through all of these elements because you guys have links to them. The one thing I will point out is the scene list, okay, because I do want to show this. So here's my scene list, and I did actually have to Tupperware container each scene. I tried running these prompts with 16K, 3.5, 16K. Even though it could run it, it hallucinated every freaking time. I mean, every time we ran the sequencing to write the scene briefs, it just would hallucinate. I can't do a fine tune on that yet because we're limited on the fine tunes for only 4,096 tokens for samples. And obviously I need the full 16,000 tokens for the samples to show like, hey, this is how you extract this information, GPT 3.5 16K. Now, it's not the end of the world because quite frankly, my original vision was that we were going to use a cheaper model to write the writing briefs and then an expensive model to write the scenes. I think it's not worth the hair pulling to get a crappy scene writing brief from 16K right now. So I actually ran these in Turbo, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just 1 second. So you guys know now about the elements, the scene elements. This one, don't worry about this. This was an early experiment. This failed, by the way. I tried to make it like follow this exact prompting style, and that just did not work. Don't do that. Matter of fact, I will just delete that. We'll just clear that out. Actually, I'll just say do not use. There. So everyone skips it because I used it in experimentation with this, but it didn't work. But I don't want to lose it because I might go back to it for fine tunes. Okay, now it is time to take a look at these scene briefs. So we're going to actually go into these Notion pages and we're going to look at the first scene brief, so you guys can be familiar with it. Every scene writing brief, because it would not follow directions to due to a specific format or output. Every single one of these things is different, but that's okay because I have found the less I try to control that aspect of it, the better, because let the AI kind of figure out what it needs to do. So here we have a scene summary, we have a scene setting, and you'd want to go through these and understand, like, for example, here, the scene will contain a brief skirmish within the casino to showcase the groom's brutish control methods. There must be dialogue and a true interruption here. So you can give it more information and more details. There was an area where I changed it in this particular one. Grimgar to you're not just muscle, you got the eyes of the hawk, use them. And bring me something I can use to crush them. See, even though my thing about his character didn't say he always speaks with violence in his words, it's because I gave it those examples, it used that as an example for this dialogue. This dialogue was not an example dialogue that was in the character sheet, but it came up with something that was a facsimile, basically.
That's awesome.
The silver bells are prancing around thinking they're untouchable. It's time to remind them who really controls El Arcana. Garrick will be our eyes and ears. Don't disappoint me. So there we go. So we have the dominance is unquestioned, all the larger plan, a fight breaks out, reluctance. So it's got that information of what's happening. Scene ending. Garrick, with a final glance, back at the chaotic splendor of the Iron Fist, steps out into the cool night of El Arcana, the weight of his mission bearing down on him. The camera, in a filmic sense, would linger on this figure disappearing in the den. So I don't want this, because this is, we're not writing a movie.
Yeah, you don't really need the stage direction.
Exactly. Now, here's one kind of trick. If you ask the AI, rewrite it so it's a writing instruction, taking a last look as he disappears, symbolizing it. So I can just replace that section and it's right there. So there we go. So that's perfect. It might duplicate it. So I'm actually going to put as he disappears. So we'll just delete this and we'll put as he disappears in the distant echo. So the Notion AI is actually a very worthwhile $10 a month if you want to be able to quickly modify these and update them. And so here we have all this information. This will set up that. So I validated this, check. I think that took about 5 minutes to do. This one is scene 2, and we're all going through this. I've already gone through a lot of these, so you'll notice that this is completely different from the last one. I did make a couple of changes here. I didn't have names for these goblin thugs, and I thought it was important that they have names. It started with like 2 that were S, so I went ahead and just rolled with that. So these are the goblins, Siznak, Snaggletooth, and Slink. And Garrick under orders. It's brutal in close quarters, conflicted in his duty. She conjures illusions, but the number of goblins overwhelms her. She's in real danger. And I made some tweaks here where I actually described that the fighting style of the goblins is, I think it was somewhere in the scene thing right here. Okay. Where was it that I changed it? Scene objectives. Okay, right here. I put he has to act when he sees Seraphina getting overwhelmed. So I'm emphasizing that this character has to be in conflict here. And I added this bit here. The goblin method of attack is swarm and overwhelm and distract. And I also put the goblins are snarky, feisty, taunting. So this should help influence how it writes this scene. So we have this, and then we have key dialogue moments. Goblin thugs threatening Seraphina, displaying their disregard. The goblins always speak in sing-song rhyme. Gruff yet protective dialogue. Seraphina's whispered things to Garrick. Okay, cool. So we don't have specific dialogue, but if I did have specific ideas, let's put here. Oh, we don't want that. We don't want a bullet. We want to. No, stop that. Seraphina tells Garrick, why would you risk yourself for me? And since I already know that that does not sound like her, I can literally ask the AI and I could say, rewrite that to sound poetic and inspired by nature. And let's see what it's got. There we go. Her being for mine. Perfect. I don't want her gentle voice. So I just want this part. And again, I'm doing the AI really fast here because I'm live on YouTube and it might take me a few minutes to actually think about like what she would say. But I like that. Why would you endanger your being for mine? That sounds a little bit more fae to me in this particular world. So we have some dialogue here. Now there's one area I need to fix, and we're going to come over here. There's two more things I need to fix before we can start sequencing the scenes. By the way, any questions about writing briefs and how you would go through and validate them? And one thing I will note, that one thing I like about this is if I'm reading this and I'm like, huh, okay, the goblins or Seraphina, I don't really remember how Seraphina is supposed to sound. Or where it says here, the Enchanted Grove through the front door. I was like, wait, the Enchanted Grove, is that right? Is that what it's called? Maybe it's been weeks since I first worked on the story. I love having all this information right here. So if I go story world and I just do a control find, I can go Enchanted Grove, and it pops right up and it goes, oh, the Silver Bells Casino. Good. This method of writing is forcing me to be way more organized about myself.
You can also do that when you ask the AI, and it'll tell you where it's located.
In the lower right-hand corner right here, I can literally say, what casino do the Silver Bells control? Look in Story World of El Arcana. And let's see if it can come up with the answer. This is the new Ask AI that's available inside of, look, it just answered the thing, and then it gives me the citations of where it was found. And if I was to click on these, I don't think it highlights where it is, but it lets me know the answer's in there. So this also serves, when you use your Notion slots like this, this also can serve as a, oh, it went over into the other versions of that. Oops, my bad, hold on. We've been working on this Orc Mafia romance for a while.
It's also huge if you're not sure exactly where the information would be. You don't have to go searching through a bunch of different areas.
Documents, yeah. It can just tell you. Okay, so back to this. The last thing that I need to fix about these writing scenes before we run them all is that there's a problem in the later ones. So I'm going to go through the scene list really fast, just so you guys know what the story is. So we have, he gets assigned. Then Seraphina says, yo, mom, I'm going to go out to the market. She gets attacked by goblins. Oh, no. He saves her. Then she sneaks him into the Enchanted Grove. She's going to sneak into the front, and then she's going to, like, touch his wound, help his wounds, touch his wounds, fix his wounds, all that. She got to touch his wounds.
Poke it.
Yes, that does happen in the story, but not yet. Not in scene 3.
I meant the wounds, Elizabeth.
Hopefully people are laughing at home. Yes, thank you don't forget to hit the like button on the YouTube channel. That's really, and to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you, Kitty. So scene 3, they have like a Romeo and Juliet kind of vibe. And then Garrick's going to go back to Grimgar, and he's like, hey, I'm there. And they're all excited. But he's like, I don't know. And they're saying, no, you're going to stick with it. She sends him a note. He's got to sneak out. They go to Lyriel Dawn Whisper's house. Now, interspecies relationships are verboten in this story world. That was one of the conflicts that I wanted, but they're going to be allowed to be together. Don't worry. So it has where she's like kind of like on the metal, and Garrick explains that the Silver Bells is in league with the Arcanian Council and skims money so that the dwarves underneath the city must live there, and the west side of Alcarna is the way it is. So I'm coming up with this like idea that there's gentrification in this world. Like some of the creatures have a better thing. The Arcanian Council is not fair, basically. Shocker, right? And so they kiss, and then they're banging in scene 6 because this is a romance, and they're orcs and they're adults, and that's fine. Plus, they're like in a Vegas world. So, and I kind of came up with this thing. We're going to see if Claude will write it. I think Claude will. So in the guest suite, decorated by magic to reflect the glittering glam of an astral plane, he's letting her take the lead. And she's like, I want some of that orc strength. Let's go. And it kind of like piques his berserker a little bit, which is going to kind of hint at something later on that when he is able to actually go into berserker mode. So then he goes back to Iron, whatever. And this thing wrote a really long. This is just what happened when I was needing some help. He's got to steal the Fountain of Fortune, which is in the VIP room. And so they have this whole plan, and he's got the invite to the ball, so he's got to go. And then he goes to the ball. He's going to steal it. He finds it. Then he grabs the top basin, and as he leaves, Seraphina catches him. But she lets him go. Okay, She's not ready to turn him in. Cleven's waiting in the alleyway to drive him away. Cool. Then her mama is like, what the heck? What did you let happen? So they're talking there. But then he goes back to Groom's territory, and he's got the fortune, but now they're ready to launch an attack on the Silverbells. And so he's like, he's not ready for this. He was literally just like being with his girlfriend, and he was like, he thought we were going to steal this so that we could be richer and stuff. He didn't know that they were going to attack and kill. So he runs in to find Seraphina and save her again. I know it's a little bit far-fetched, but you know, it's a fantasy romance. We're just going to roll with it. He is going to hide the Fountain of Fortune in a sack for gambling chips, and he takes it to the battle. He saves her from Brockjaw. Actually, the scene writing brief decided that he's attacking Brockjaw, and it changed it a little bit, but it's fine. It decided not to kill Cleven, which was kind of interesting.
Before you scroll down from this, you need to close out your scene 11 closing one. You don't have the.
Thank you. Although that was only necessary for the scene writing briefs, but that's okay. So scene 12 is here, and scene 13 promotes Garrick for his loyalty, but he doesn't know about the theft yet. And then Red Fang is going to be like, yo, he lost the fortune. He lost the fountain. So then he's upset, and now Grimgar is like, Garrick's going to be severely punished. Seraphina's tending to him. She closes her eyes and casts a spell to send a Fey spy to have sight on him. She sees he's being tortured. So she's like, oh my gosh, we got to save Garrick. You know, I mean, he saved her twice now. And then they go and they save, and then they get separated from Lyriel, and they end up in the Southern District, which is run by the vampires. That's the Nocturne clan. By the way, when I asked the AI to name the vampires, at first it was like, somebody Moon Whisper or something. It sounded really much like elves or the Fae. So the prompt I said is, please rename these to sound like ancient Eastern European Middle Age aristocracy. And that's what I got: Morella de Umbra and Victor de Argent. And the intention here is that if anybody sees a name, they immediately, if someone was to say that this is a fantasy world and there's a Sir Victor de Argent, you're immediately probably thinking it's a vampire, right? Like it just kind of seems like it.
Yeah,
sorry
to
ancient Eastern European aristocracy in the Middle Ages. No offense to you dudes and dudettes. But I mean, that's where that's where Transylvania and stuff, right? Maybe.
Yeah, it also helps just trying to remember the names of each character when you're getting really into it, just to kind of have that feel for what they might be.
Yeah. And by the way, I asked the AI last night for next books, and they came up with a vampire one, and then the third one was that Countess Duskborn and Lyriel Dawn Whisper get together. And I was like, yes, let's do that. So we'll see. We'll see if readers like these. So Garrick and Seraphina are with the vampires. The vamps are like, we're going to eat you. And then the Countess is like, do not eat them. I need them, maybe. Okay, I will help you, but it's going to cost you. Kind of setting up dun, dun, dun. There's going to be something you have to pay later on. And they're young, and they're in love, and they don't care. And they're like, whatever. You can have whatever. So Grimgar's mad, and he's tearing up the city because he doesn't have his fountain, and he doesn't have Garrick. And I mean, he'd be pretty mad, right? So far, he's been beaten twice. So the Arcadian Enforcement Division comes in. They're breaking up the violence temporarily. There's a emergency council meeting. He has to submit to the council meeting. At the council meeting, the Groomsh and the Silverbells are yelling at each other. Titiana's stuck with the fact that the fountain's not stolen. So she can say an attempt stealing, but he's saying, no, you stole. He's now, Grimgar's saying that they kidnapped his second in command, Garrick, and he demands to know where he's being held. I like that little bit. I came up with that. I was cool. Right? That's a total villain move.
I like that.
Okay, we're almost done. 6 more scenes. They need to bang again, so they're together and all that. They kiss. She agrees. They'll find a way. Da-da-da. Grimgar makes plans to attack the Silverbell and Vampire districts. He brings in troll mercenary reinforcements. This causes Urgok and Krosh to defect. Now, I had to add that in because later on it said that there was orcs that defected, and I was like, you can't just have orcs defecting in scene 24. We have to back that up a little bit. So Urgok and Krosh leave and go to the council side. Garrick tries to convince the vampires and the Silverbells that they have to work together because there's going to be trolls. So they prepare for the trolls. The allied forces, they defected. They lead by Garrick clash with his army. And then suffering losses, Grimgar retreats. Garrick defeats Grimgar in one-on-one combat as Garrick goes into berserker mode, but spares Grimgar's life. The Alliance celebrates their victory. Yay! Countess Dustborn, however, goes, no. The Arcanian Council will not spare Grimgar his life because the vampires eat the people who are criminals in this world. So the vampires take him. Then they get married. Ta-da! And then the last scene I have Grishka, who was in scene 1 as that ambitious one. This is the human, this is the human element. This is me going, okay, I'm a senior writing partner. I did all of this for scene 26. That first orc in the original scene who was like, hey, I want to be important. He challenges Garrick because now Garrick and Seraphina are running the Iron Fist. And Grishka's like, no, I can do it, and throws a punch. And instead, Garrick immediately goes into berserker mode, squashes Grishka, doesn't hurt them, or doesn't kill them, but just squashes them. And then Seraphina's going to put a hand on his chest and one over her womb because she's having a baby. And he roars and the clan cheers. And then he's like, everyone gets food, gets ale on in the house, and they kiss. So that's the end of the romance. Okay. So that was a few minutes, but I wanted you guys to know the progression of the story so that as I'm running the scenes, if I'm like, nope, that's wrong, we got to redo it, you are just as well versed as I am, or close to it. Let me see in the chat if anyone has questions about the story, but doesn't look like it.
Before you move on to running it, did you want to fix 23 and 24 real quick since it did the battle? I
do need to fix that. So this is where it's nice about the scenes. So here's scene 23, the battle for El Arcana. So create a high-stakes action-packed scene. Now leading the Allied forces. I'm wondering if I can just flip them. Are abandoned, the barricades. I really like this. The first wave of fighting is intense. They push back Grimgar's forces, and then they're doing all of this stuff. Start to gain the upper hand. The scene ends with a moment of respite as the allies look at the battlefield and all of that. So I think I just need to fix 24. Because 24 says it marks the climax of the overarching conflict. And that's not the case. This is all after that. So, Grimgar faced. So this is... It's not the climax. It marks the denouement of the overarching conflict. So there we go. Where the two scenes were engaged in a fierce battle. In a dramatic showdown, Garrick fights Grimgar. Garrick's berserker rage proved... So I'm actually going to say...
You want to change the is to was on the Grimgar's army is forced into a retreat?
Yeah. I'm actually going to take that out.
Okay.
Was forced. It doesn't need to know about the berserk. Well, I guess. He chose to spare Grimgar's life. Tending to the wounded. The scene ends with them celebrating their victory. Countess Dustburn and Justice in accordance with Arcanian's verdict. Grimgar is dragged away, begging for justice. I actually think I want to just copy and paste what the scene list says for scene 24, because it kind of makes it clear everything was after. Grimgar retreats. Oh, so it did this one here. Okay, screaming for mercy. All right, so never mind. That's fine. So come back over here, 21 through 30. It is scene 24 that I need to fix. Is dragged away, begging for not justice, mercy by the vampires of the Arcanian something defense division, enforcement division. That's what they're called. The battle ravaged seats. specifically in contested things. Damaged or repurposed for the battle, such as barricades made from casino decorated magical traps set in alleyways. Okay, the battle, so it is now, because it took place during twilight, and I need to double check that scene 23 said that too. So let's see what 23 says. Setting, so I'm going to say it is now twilight, because they were fighting in the afternoon. That's what I'll just decide happened there. So it is now the battle aftermath. There we go. And I want to kind of highlight this. The battle aftermath. So I'm kind of like reinforcing as much as I can. Like, the battle already happened. This is after the battle.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So characters, Grimguard, yes. Various supporting characters, absolutely. Mood and tone. The mood is intense and charged with emotion. Key points, high casualties. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. The scene opens up. No, none of this happens. Okay, so now I'm going to hop over to 23, where it says the scene outline. Nope. This is a cliffhanger. Where Garrick must decide if he will spare Grimgar's life. This is the cliffhanger this scene ends on. Okay, so here we go. This scene is the climax. Ensure that the actions of the characters align with their development throughout the story. Outcomes should feel earned and signify a turning point. Okay, no, oh sure, that's fine. It can stay there, I guess. It might make it like bowitis it, but we'll see what happens. So this one right here, where it says key plot points, there's a moment of tension. The scene begins in media res with people with Silver Bell clan members screaming for Garrick to kill him. But Garrick spares Grimgar's life. Garrick's decision shows his growth as a character, and her enforcement underscores a new power dynamic. So we'll do right here. Countess Duskborn swoops in as Seraphina is by Garrick's side, trying to help calm him from his berserker mode. She announces that the council has decreed that Grimgar, leader of the Grunch clan, life is forfeit. And in exchange, all members of his clan who engaged in the warfare shall be pardoned. Their transgressions, but placed on probation. That works, right? Because they wouldn't want to kill all of the orcs. You can't kill all the orcs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Intervention. There we go. The scene closes, celebrating Garrick and Seraphina kiss to the shock of everyone. And Tatiana, leader of the Silver Bells, yells at her daughter, Seraphina, who turns on a mother and waves a hand, sending a magical gust to force her mother to retreat. Garrick and Serafina kiss again, and this time the crowd cheers. There we go. It's so saccharine, y'all. It's so saccharine. All right, in the characters, I think we need to bring in Serafina. So we'll put here. Daughter of Tatiana, lover of Garrick, Faye, who rescued Garrick and has been a forbidden lover the whole story. And then we have Tatiana. No. I kind of want to go to a previous scene and just grab her description. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to a scene I know she's in, which is in scene 2. Nope, she's not in scene 2. She's in scene 3. Just kidding. Scene 3. So I can come here. Leader of the Silverbells family. There we go. And now I can come back over to here and fix the, we were in 24, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Older. There we go. So I think that's good enough. I won't really know little details I want to write because I don't really know these characters too well, and that's something for the post-production cleanup. I just wanted to get this written. Okay, so that is the last of the scene briefs being cleaned up. So here we have the wedding. So we're gonna have them do vows, and then we have the scene where they're fighting with Grishka and Grumsh and the Silverbells family, and you'll see right here that that's how that goes. Okay. Any questions? Let's check the chat.
There are none that I have.
Over. Yeah, no one's. Is anyone still there? Are you guys alive? They're probably already playing with the things, as my guess.
Probably.
Okay. So now, going back to our notes, here's where we are. We have finished phase 1. I've also finished phase 2 in the sense that I have already run the writing briefs. Okay, so we're actually going to be running the actual scenes. But I'm going to show you how you would load the blackjack real fast for those writing briefs, okay? So coming over to my sequences over here, you'll see that I have scene 1 briefs 1 through 30. Oh, I've got to fix this. My bad. Give me 1 second here. There was a problem with the blackjacks that I had to fix. This is 13. But you're going to see basically a similar methodology when we run the scenes that we used for writing those scene briefs, pretty much. The reason the scene briefs had to be 3 blackjacks is because read the following scene brief, okay, hold on. I got confused here. So N9 is just that. So this one should be N12. Okay, that's a problem. Yep, there we go. And then right there, I want to delete any extra spacing so I can see the prompts. So read the following scene brief, writing brief. It's going to be always my N11 because that's going to be scene 1, scene 11, and scene 21 because of the way I set up my Notion slots. So N11 is always the custom prompting piece for Insta1 if you're doing a sequence that is going to be run over and over and over again. So this methodology, I'm going to be changing out my Notion page, not my blackjack. I'm going to be using the same blackjack over and over and over again. The writing scenes couldn't be done that way because there isn't there isn't a specific, like that one, I'll show you the sequence. I had to keep saying like, write 25, write 26, write 27, write 28, write 29, write 30. It had to call back to something that was in the outline, like in the actual story information. So if it's in the actual story information that you're calling it from, you have to use multiple blackjacks to get through all of them. If your blackjack is read this thing and do something, and it's 10 things, then you just want to use your N11s through N20s and have them correlate to the bang, the insta bang or whatever that it's got to go towards. That doesn't make sense? Stick tight. You'll watch it live, and then it'll probably make a lot more sense. So read the following scene writing brief, and this is going to be number N15 because it goes with insta 5. Don't tell me this is the same problem as other one. It is. Okay. So yeah, I hadn't fixed that part of it. So these accidentally got mixed up. So I'm actually, A is going to be this prompt. I fixed the other ones already. That's where my my ADHD kicked in. No, we were busy setting up a lot of things for this. So 16 is the top, and my post instruction here is just N9. And I'll have to do this for 8 and 10 as well, because they also got reversed.
It would be really nice if we could pin those so they don't move until we unpin them.
I don't think you can in this view, because this view is designed to just allow you to move them around.
Okay.
So it's not the end of the world though. And this is 17. So bang 7 and 17 and 9. I don't need to worry about the B15 or the B14s, because that has to do with the blackjack sequencing. So you want to always look at the insta number. That's what correlates to your end slots. The Bs just do the sequence. So here's again where it's an 8B. So this just needs to be N9, because that's the prompt, which is write the scene 3,000 words and all that. So this should be down here. And insta A is the one that is the, and let me remove this little line. No, I don't know why I pasted that. There we go. Bring that up, and 18. I only have 2 more to do, y'all. This is why it's really important to really identify what information has to change and what information doesn't have to change, so that you can spare yourself once you have these sequences. Hypothetically, you can run any 30 scenes that you want to. Yeah, and 19, that's right, to go with 9. And then, so the scene briefs, we would have to make a 4th one if we wanted to go 31 through 40, basically. And then the last one I have to fix is N10. So a 9 and N20. So that one's already done. Good. Okay, so now this blackjack is ready. Let me show you the other blackjacks and what they look like.
Susan wanted to know if bang 5 needed to be fixed as well.
Oh, I thought I did fix it. Did I not fix bang 5? Oh, you are correct. Thank you. And this is 5, so it's going to be 15. And then this one needs to be N9. Okay. Everything should be good now. And now I will show you how you run these. Okay. So you'll remember that I have my novel, This Notion 1. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL. And we're going to come over into Rexy. And I'm going to come over to my project. And the first thing I'm going to show you is running the writing briefs. Okay. So we're going to go, this is writing brief demo. And I'm going to actually show you GPT-3 16K. So you can see how it will hallucinate real fast, because it doesn't take but a few minutes. So this is the writing brief demos, GPT 3.5 16K. So that's going to be the name of these auto writes that it creates. And my blackjack sequence, I'm going to clear my cache. And I'm going to load scene briefs 1 through 10. And I'm going to load that blackjack. Even if it says that that's the one that's already loaded, it's always a good practice to just clear it and load it again and make sure. You want to see those green letters. And this is baby that I'm using. And it's important to use baby because we're going to do the no big bang box for all of the prompts. So now I come over to my elements. And I'm going to go to my end slots. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that page in because we made changes, and we're going to refresh that page. And when I do that, now what we should see is that the genre, remember I cleaned up that genre aspect of it so that the genre doesn't say these stories, these stories often revolve around star-crossed lovers from different factions, period. It didn't add the orc, human, the extra information that it doesn't need. The other thing that I want for each one of these instas. Now, word banger originally was like when we first taught it a few weeks ago, it was incrementally increasing, remember? And this particular box is already in your Notion, or in Rexy, by the way. Yours says skip the bang bang box. Now it's going to say no big bang box in prompt for Insta 1, making it clearer. If you click this box, it means that whatever's in the big bang box will not be in the prompt. Same thing for Insta 2. Now, it still means like Insta 1 is going to, the response would hypothetically be in the big bang box. So it's still there. You're just not going to see it. And you're basically preventing these from getting incrementally bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Does that make sense to everyone? This actually allows you to run these instas in a silo. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click the button on all of these because we don't want that. And then I will talk about that reset button. The reset button is a new feature. It allows you to clear the big bang box. So let's say you make a sequence that's like, read scene 1, add more characterization, do this. And it's like using chain of thought, but on the 4th sequence, it's going to do like scene 2. You can click clear the big bang box on Insta 3, and maybe Insta 4 picks up with scene 2. So this allows you to have like little mini sequences in one blackjack, and you can clear the big bang box. Now, if you click clear the big bang box, Rexy is going to write a duplicate to the auto write of everything that was in the big bang box, just as a fail-safe. So if you accidentally say clear the big bang box and you didn't mean to, you can pause it, go back to your auto write, you can find that big bang box, put it in there, and continue the sequence. So you can't accidentally mess it up.
That's a huge relief. Just better fail safe.
I was like, I will break that. I will mess that up. We don't have to reset it on any of these, but we do have those there. So my Notion slots are correct. I look at my B slots. I've got the B slots all correct. Scene 1. I'm going to click bang them. So there they are. And I said we're going to run 16K. So let me go to my auto write page, just so you guys can see this, because I like to do this down here. And we'll go heading 1. And we'll go live writing briefs. What happened? Okay. And this is GPT 3.5, 16K. There we go. So we will see this start to hallucinate. And let me show you what happens. So we have everything set. I don't have it set. I lied. So we'll go to 16K. Now I can't use GPT-4, remember, because all my story information is like 9,000 words. So I have to use a prompt. I have to use a model that can handle at least 9,000 words in the prompt. So the temperature is 0.7. The top P is 1. The maximum length is 2048. We'll click update for the response. Number of repeats 10. Start banging at 1. And now it's going. So now it's doing scene 1 writing brief, and it's just doing Garrick and Grimgrish. Now, this is also something that's interesting. The scene briefs you saw pulled all those other characters out. GPT-4 Turbo could do that. 16K cannot. So you'll see that these are a lot skimpier, and it did scene 1, and now it's doing scene 2. If you're someone that just wants maybe like a rush, like a rough draft, 16K might be your Huckleberry. Also, you could see if it, these are pennies on the dollar, like fractions of pennies. So you could actually see like what's happening. This one, it just kind of decided to do a whole scene description or whatever. Here's scene 3 writing brief. Where they're together. Scene 4 should be him back at Iron Fist. Let's see what it is. Now he's back at the Iron Fist, so that's cool. But it's leaving out specific characters that were supposed to be in there based on the paragraph. So it wasn't pulling all the information. It wasn't able to extract all the information. Number 5 should be at the house. So they're talking there. Let's see what it does for 6, where they're supposed to have sex. Forbidden love. They walk through the garden. Let's see. They're back at the garden. It basically like duplicated. They are not having sex. They're going to share another passionate kiss in scene 6, in case you were wondering. And here, this is where it got really lost with the ball. So this one was where we noticed he stole the fountain in every single scene. So he's like, he's got it. Have Seraphina step in, defend Garrick. So it's deciding like scene 7, 8, and 9 are all together. So there's 7, and then there's 8, the Masquerade of Shadows. And it's like, oh yeah, he's going to steal that one more time. I don't know why it looped right there. It doesn't make any sense. There's no weird formatting or anything like that. I think it just couldn't handle the fact that we were going to stay in the same setting and the action was going to like pass over 3 scenes. It did not understand that at all. And in case you wanted that heist one more time, you get it again in scene 9.
Maybe it's a magic fountain. When you take your eyes off of it, it returns to where it was.
You have to steal it again and again. And now we're here. Scene 10, this is not supposed to be that at all. So somewhere at scene 7, it just lost it. We're like, okay, well, this just doesn't work. And I played with the prompting and it wrote 4,216 words. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clear my Big Bang box. And all of those are on my auto write page. And we'll put a little note here. Goes off the rails at scene 7. Just loses it. Okay, now this is a new feature, by the way. Here you'll see 16K completed. This is the entire sequence of all the completions in one thing for you. So you basically have it all saved. So this is 4,231 words. Now, if this had worked, the next thing I would do and be like, okay, yeah, those are bingering. Fantastic. The next step that I would do is I wouldn't have to change out my Notion slots. What I would have to, because I'm only working with N1 through N7, I would come back to my projects. I would clear my cache, and then I would go ahead and load 11 through 20. And then I'd do that again. And then I would go ahead and do 21 through 30. Again, the best model I found for this was GPT-4 Turbo. I'm not going to run those. Just take my word for it. You guys can see the results because we would be sitting here and watching it. And that's another 25 minutes I don't think we need to do. I would like to start writing the scenes. How many people would like to start writing the scenes? Everybody understands how to load the blackjacks?
Just waiting to see if anyone chimes in chat.
I'm going to clear that cache.
It's a very mellow crowd tonight.
I think they're all working. That's usually how this works. They put the live on and basically they work alongside me.
Gotcha.
Is what usually happens. Okay. So we're going to call this attempt 1. Writing the scenes. What model should we go first? I can tell you that Claude writes really well. Do you want to try Claude?
Yeah, let's try Claude.
Okay, so we're going to do Claude 2.0. So this is attempt 1, writing the scenes, Claude 2.0. So that way it'll put that there. And I will go to my auto write and make sure I put a line there. Boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop.
it looks like Ingrid and Rachel are both ready to watch you load the blackjacks.
I figured. Yeah, we're ready to write scenes. Writing the scenes. First one is going to be Claude 2.0. And, you know, there may be scenes that it goes, I'm not writing that because it's sex. And that's fine. If it does that, then I just go back and write those scenes with Mythomax or something like that. I'm really just trying to sequence this thing to get it done. And see, you know, I want to get it to where I can write it. So all of these are wrong. So I'm just going to clear all because all those prompts are wrong. And when you clear all, it doesn't clear out your check boxes. So it's still going to say no Big Bang box. I could have the Big Bang box for Claude. I'm not going to. So that way, if one scene goes off the rails with the story, it doesn't impact the subsequent scenes. Because it's easier to fix one scene that got some of the plot details wrong than to fix all of the rest of the scenes that came after it because Claude was trying to match that. And it just muddles it.
Makes sense.
Plus, it saves money, too. So
that's good.
Yep.
Always good.
So our project, we loaded Blackjack scene writing 1 through XXX because you just run it again and again and again. You just load your different Notion pages. My Notion slots have got to change. And the way I can tell my Notion slots aren't right is these are with the Notion scene 1 and through 10, so that's fine. Then when I load my new one, it'll say scene 11, it'll say scene 20 writing brief. So this one's fine because it's the one that has the 1 through 10 on the bottom of it. My B slots, I need to go ahead and bang them. Oh, nope. I need to click refresh the B slots. You have to click refresh the B slots when you load a new Blackjack, which I thought I loaded the Blackjack, but I guess I did not. So let's go to project and try it again. Clear the cache and load that Blackjack. I've got the green letters. So there's the Blackjack. And still 1B now right. Oh, wait a minute. That's flagging for me that there's something wrong there. Because it shouldn't be doing that. So what I need to do is I need to go to my sequencer. I know what happened there. That was when I was, which one is messed up on that?
Oh, B03 was right on the page. Yeah, right there. If you just go down.
B1.
Right, left
B2.
column. Where'd it go? Go down.
B1, B2,
right there.
B3,
B03
right
is
here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's fine. That means it's messed up in one of these. Now right has it okay. Now right has it okay. And now right has it okay. Okay. So it must have just been left over, messed up formatting when I was messing with those. Okay, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't have to fix it. Coming over to my elements, read the following scene brief and 11 and 9 and 12 and 9 and 13 and 9. I just want to make sure that we have 16 and 9, 17 and 9, 18 and 9, 19 and 9, 20 and 9. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and change our AI to AWS Bedrock, Claude 2, go us. Temperature 0.7 is fine, 7.1 fine, 4096 for the output because it can do that. And I need to go to the elements. My B slots, it's got the wrong prompts in there. So I'm going to clear all. So those are gone. They're not gone here. I click bang them to bring them in, and they're there. We need 10 prompts starting at 1. Claude 2.0. Okay, I put it there. Here we go. And now we make popcorn, and we just watch it write the book. This might be a little bit like paint drying, but maybe not. What news from the street? Oh, quiet for now. Too quiet if you ask me. Have you rats dug up anything useful yet? Perhaps your rats simply aren't sniffing in the right holes. Oh, and there's Grishka. Ooh, I like that characterization because Grishka's like, trying to usurp Garrick. Ooh, Grimgar's mad. As I said, the streets are quiet. But my gut tells me something is brewing. I've got my ear to the ground, and it's only a matter of time before. And now we have the fight. Grimgar was on his feet in an instant, hand on the cruelly spiked club at his belt, half dragging a bloodied orc. Caught this maggot cheating boss, stacking the dice. Took Murok's pouch of gold before he grabbed him. Is that so? I'm sorry, boss. Oh, you'll pay him back, all right. Break his hand. Thieves don't keep what they take from the Groomsh clan. Whew, that's okay. Claude.
Claude's in a mood.
Claude's letting its inner orc out. Now back to business, okay? But it's ours. What are your orders? Find out the Silver Bell's plans. I want Tarn's neck in a noose before he can slither out of it. Wait, who the heck is Tarn? Who's Tarn? So that's a moment that I would kind of like write notes to myself as this was going on. And I'd be like, scene 1, who's Tarn? Tarn. Find out. Keep your eyes open, old friend. I will not fail you. No, you won't. To the future of the Groomsh. Back to work, you maggots. Okay. There we go. And 1428.
Nice.
Applaud. I just want at least 1,000 words.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have Serafina, and she is in the magic markets. And this is fine because I can grab this and kind of like, I don't mind these paragraphs at the front that are like just kind of info dumps because it's easy with AI to grab those and say, hey, expand that, add dialogue. Oh, here we have the Snaggletooth and the Slink, the goblins. Now the goblins are supposed to always talk kind of in rhyme, sing-songy. Ooh, everyone bleeds the same. Why, you little, is that the best you can do? Swiftly. Oh dear. Okay. It's getting the pacing right, where it's getting about halfway, a couple hundred words before the scene's making that turn. So rushed forward. Garrick turned to Siznak. Oof, pinning the goblin by his neck. Never touch her again. Okay. I'm here for this. We must go. Wait, he's got a clawed hand. Our orcs clawed. Okay, scene 2. Orcs clawed. I guess maybe. You're injured.
Remember them having clawed hands.
Why did you help me? Now I will notice that Claude does not bring in the specific dialogue like it's supposed to. It writes more words, but it's not as faithful to the scene brief as GPT-4 is if I make GPT-4 write these scenes or Turbo. But those typically write like 500 or 700 words right now. I would have to do loops to get them longer and everything like that. So, and I have a feeling next week GPT-4 will be writing better scenes. And what I like about this prompting, though, is that whichever model you like the best, you could grab or you could use, and the sequencing is going to work just fine. He meant no harm, Mother. We Fae are not incapable of clumsiness, even if we pretend otherwise. Now that's kind of funny. Increase their patrols. Cool. And now she's got to go upstairs, and Garrick should be up there. Oh, he's on the polished velvet sofa. Easy there. You're in no shape for such gallantry. Aw, warm water and a vial of iridescent liquid. Green arms and delicate care. She's got reddish and chestnut hair. This should help. My thanks. Your skills are impressive. I've had some practice tending to wounds discreetly. Occupational hazard for those who prefer to adventure to propriety. That's funny. It was not unpleasant. No, it's fine. You were what, Garrick? I was just thinking, you're not what I expected. You're the first orc I've conversed with beyond hurtling threats over the city walls. Hopefully I make a better impression than most of my brethren. You have so far. Does it bring you fulfillment to fight and conquer? Ooh. They were deceitful cowards, not real warriors, that the Groomsh clan deserved to rule in all its domain. I do not know. I fight because it's what's expected of me. And you? Do you believe your kind superior, that we orcs are mere savages? I did not question it. Foul deeds. No more than mine. Difficult. The weak do not last long. Every day is a test of strength and cunning. My feats in battle earned me a place among the clan's warriors, but I cannot rest. There's always a younger, more vicious orc seeking to take my place. That sounds tiring. Is there nothing beyond fighting and jostling? There are small pleasures. Okay. He's a little bit not... it's not getting his dialogue exactly like I like, but I can clean it up. I don't mind that in post-production. I'm laughing at some of this. I think this is great.
I like it, yeah.
What do you mean? This, us, it is madness. If my mother knew I had brought one of the Groomsh clan into our own casino, if you believe it too dangerous, no, it's not. I just do not know what comes next. I feel drawn to you. As do I. Are you kissing? You're not supposed to kiss. I should return before I'm missed. I'll await you. Until next time. Oh, she did kiss his cheek. Okay, well, that works. She was a silver bell. Violet eyes and the scent of honeysuckle. Oh, he's got it bad. And it wrote 2,000 words, y'all. We're going to have a whole novel. Okay, I hope everybody's with us. I'm going to check the chat. Surely they have talons.
We were just talking about talons versus
Yeah,
nails.
I see that. All right, so now he's in the iron. I mean, this is not bad drafting. I've got to say. I really want to hear Rochelle's opinion on these. By the way, if you go to the auto-write page, they're already populating on the auto-write page. So here is scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3. So if you can't keep up watching this, you do have the links to the project in your notes, and you can go ahead and start reading it on the auto-write page. Oh, he's like, can we wait longer? Nonsense. You will get in there. Do you agree, Clevin? I do not agree with your assessment, Lord Grimgar, but perhaps Garrick has a point about patience. A wary clan, even amongst their own, pushing too rashly could undo months of careful work. You both fret like old women. Garrick has him eating out of his hand already. Have some faith in your champion, Clevin. You've never failed me. The girl and her fool clan are no match for your talents. Okay. Any means necessary. Just hours ago, he could not bring himself to think of it. He would find another way somehow. My lord, it grows late, and we are all weary. Yes. Get some rest. We'll speak again at dawn. As you command. Good evening, Lord Grimgar, Clevin. Okay, so Garrick leaves. By all the gods, what was he to do? Okay, I like it. And then he gets the piece of parchment that she's enchanted to say, hey, come meet me tonight at Lyriel's. Ways he might turn Grimgar's old ambitions against him. Okay.
Rochelle has actually typed in chat if you want me to read it.
I'm looking.
It says, okay.
Yeah, it went into the preconceived notions and changing their perceptions of each other. Yeah, because the writing brief said it had to do that. So the writing brief is really powerful as a prompting tool. I agree. All right, we have Lady Seraphina. Please come in. Make yourself. Lyriel is talking. Can I get you some moonberry wine? I never in a million years would have written up moonberry wine. Like, this is not my genre. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I watched all the episodes of Buffy and stuff, like, urban fantasy and stuff like that. I like it, but I hated the Wheel of Time. So I'm not into epic fantasy. I'm into like the more contemporary type fantasies. My lady, Garrick. Wonderful. Now that we're all properly acquainted, dinner awaits. I love Lyriel. They're the best. She's hyper aware. I'm going to retire. My gardens are open for your enjoyment. So there they go. Of course. Now, here's the problem, or one kind of issue. It doesn't really know what already passed between them, so I might have to clean this up a little bit, where there's things that it kind of seems like they don't know each other very well. It doesn't, these are running in a silo, so it doesn't know what was already written in the previous scene. Ooh, then I shall tame you. Now, that is some great dialogue right there. I'm here for that.
Rochelle said Garrick isn't speaking like an orc and they're sounding a little similar.
He's got to sound more like an orc. I agree. I mentioned that before. This is Claude. So if I've got to clean his dialogue up, that's okay. Just Garrick and Seraphina. Because some of it I can keep. Like, that would be fine. But any of these, tonight it is only you and I, beneath the moon's glow. No, that is not a Garrick phrase.
He's channeling Shakespeare.
He is. The gardens will be closing soon. She's mortified. I'll show you to the rooms. No need to explain. Okay, let's see if Claude will write the sex. I don't know. Uh-oh, it's doing it. Cosmic grandeur. Now he's got hoofed feet. Great. We're going to have to work on some of these orc. But, if I have to reread this and validate it and make these changes, they're not the end of the world. I've never, okay. You took the words right out of my mouth. No, you need to sound more like an orc. And I could probably just grab this scene and put it into GPT and say, like, anywhere Garrick is speaking, make him sound more like an orc, and it would probably fix it. And that's when you would have like a Notion slots that's like N1 through 21, and each one of those is just the scene that's been written. And that way you can just say, hey, I have my notes and I know N21 needs to be rewritten for this stuff. But I would want to go through this line by line anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I've never known an orc's touch.
Uh-oh, they're kissing.
They're kissing. She's twining her legs around his waist.
Claude's being risque.
Oh, she needs him. Nope, that's not going to work. She's supposed to zap him with magic and make him be all orc-mody.
I'm surprised it's writing what it's writing, though.
It's writing it.
Yeah. It lost its pearls to clutch.
I guess so.
It fell off.
It did get his berserker side, tusks elongating, muscles swelling as fury and passion consumed him. So it did pick that up, that she is the secret for him being able to go to berserker mode. That's never happened during sex. Your berserker mode side emerged. I'm glad I could satisfy that part of you as well. Interesting. Well, it did the sex, so I'm impressed. Yeah. Okay, heavy wooden doors. You know, I think part of it is those later scene writing briefs didn't have specific dialogue examples. I bet you for Claude, it needs to really have examples of the dialogue in there for the characters.
That makes sense to reference it.
That might be something that we, like, research here would be to tweak what types of writing briefs are best for which model. Did you find her company enjoyable? Oh my goodness. Gentle spirit, you speak as if she were a woodland fawn instead of our enemy. Have you forgotten who you serve?
Yeah, Rochelle said it's mixing up the point of view, but it's probably because we didn't tell it the POV for the scene.
No, actually, I did tell it could be third person omniscient for all of it. I was lazy on that part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lord Cedric Silverbells resolves the honor of your presence. So I'd have to fix that because it's not. There's no Lord Cedric Silverbells or whatever. I could leave that there. But I would put Tatiana and Cedric. Basically, we never meet Cedric. Maybe that could be book 2. He's secretly under a curse. He's fungus through the... No, I'm kidding. That's the plot line for Super Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo, and I can't remember the name of the actor who played Mario, but
shoot.
I remember, is it Dennis Hopkins was Koopa?
I haven't seen the movie in so long. I can't place the actors other than Leguizamo.
I think it's Bob Hoskins. Oh, Bob. Yep, you got it. Death by Diva. Good call.
Jen knows her Hoskins. I can't say his last name.
Just my gambling chips boss for the tables. Oh, so it's planning ahead that he's going to save the fountain when he retrieves it. What scene are we on? He's not supposed to be there yet. How does it know that? It never was fed that information.
Are you sure it didn't?
I don't know. I guess he's deciding to conceal the fountain. Okay.
Interesting.
All right, so now it's the ball. Ridiculously dressed up. Hadn't worked a day in their charmed life. So he's talking himself up. And so this is a problem right here. It's hallucinating how they know each other. So a Frontlands exile. So there's definitely some hallucinations when you write with Claude that it's like, I'm just going to embellish this. So we may have to go through these and kind of clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to run these 10 with Claude, and then we'll run them again with GPT-4 Turbo so you can see the difference of how accurate GPT-4 Turbo is. And it might be that we have to go Turbo, and then we say, Claude, make Turbo longer, because then Claude will like stick with the details that are there. I don't know.
Makes sense. It is minimal changes you have to make in this, so it's
It
doing pretty
is.
good considering.
And there will be less scrupulous authors out there that don't bother to make the changes and clean it up.
Yeah.
I do not recommend that. That's if you do that for quick witches, like if you just, use this and you don't bother to read it and fix it, and you publish and you constantly get reader feedback of like, he changed, and 1 minute he was with the exiles and 1 minute he wasn't. You're literally building a house on like shifting sands. So even if you don't get caught right away and you're just like publishing raw AI with no validation, it'll work probably for a while. But then at some point that author name is going to get burned. And then basically all that work that you've done, it's just for nothing.
Yeah, especially if you've built up a decent sized fan base.
Exactly. I cannot leave without a piece of the fountain. You betrayed me? For what? In another life, maybe we could have. Ooh. Oh, wow. Just go. I never want to see you again. There could be no going back now. Okay, so it hallucinated, and he's stealing the fountain again.
Still.
Yep, he's gonna steal it again.
He has to make sure he got it the first time.
I guess. And that's because it hallucinated here and expanded that scene to 1937. And that's the tricky part. If you tell it to write 3,000 words, but you don't have enough material there, they can struggle. It isn't. So this is where like kit bashing, and you can kind of clean it up and do all of that. This is where making notes on your scenes, making comments in Notion as you're reading it and going like, hey, wait a minute, doesn't this go back to that? This is where it's going to take a few days to clean this up. That's where the post-production is. By the way, I think we're at 20,000 words just about. I think this is scene 9. Scene 9. Okay, so one more, and then we'll be able to see the final. You must go quickly now. There's no time. So now she's helping him get away. She's pressing something into his palm. I don't know how I would work with that, but okay. Her bedchamber. Earnest green eyes. Mother, I think you know very well, daughter, do not play coy with me. But I felt regrettable. And I know the orc savage you've been cavorting with was involved. Garrick would never, do not speak his name in these halls. Okay, now this is pretty good. The fault is still his. All right, there we go. So this we could clean. Not monsters, mother, people. Is that what he told you? I do not see ruin. I see the possibility of change, of healing the wounds between our... I don't like people in here because they're supposed to be all magical creatures. I don't think they would self-identify as people. So we'd probably change that to our clans.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. You know nothing of our history. Well, whose fault is that, lady? I'm sorry. Prejudices. I speak from knowledge. And what is that, mother? Savages, creatures of greed and base instinct. Given the chance, they would tear our civilization down and trample it under their boots. And will not let you come to pass. There must be goodness in them too, if you would only seek it. Garrick showed me. Garrick is an aberration. His clan will cast him out if they learn of your dalliance, but not before they have had their revenge against us for allowing such a disgrace. Love. Oh yeah, this is some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's doing pretty well.
Do you truly wish?
I was
I mean, those,
expecting it to tell you it can't write fiction.
yeah. I am here for I had emotions reading this. Like I had tightness in my chest. I had, the breath thing. I was here for this. I am really impressed. That's another 1,400 words. That is all done. And now it's generating one more Notion document, which is all of it together. So we'll see that pop right here. There it is. Let's see. Oh, it's not quite done yet. It's still writing it all. That's because it's really, really long. So when it's long like this, it's literally like taking all the chunks and chunking them out. So you will see, like, if you run sequences, it's a little bit longer. We can ask Joseph about turning this feature off if you don't want it to like compile everything in the sequence as one output. I think it's handy in the sense of like when you're running scenes, but I could see where some people are like, no, I don't want that.
And maybe a
So,
toggle.
yeah, toggle or something. If that's easy, if it's a light lift.
Yeah.
So coming right here to the completed. Let's see how many words.
Dang.
15,997 words.
Not bad.
I would give it a B+ for narrative logic.
Mm-hmm.
What would everyone else's grade be? I mean, if I got this from a ghostwriter or something, I would be pretty darn happy for the changes I need to make to it.
Yeah, considering this is a first draft, this is pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. Yeah.
And the other thing that I wanted to look at was how long did this take? That's where I like the timestamps. 34, 55.
Harper said maybe a C+. Harper's a hard audience.
Harper's like, no. I like it, Harper. I'm with you.
Harper is discerning, Jen said.
Well, and part of it is I probably could make my writing briefs all consistent. It would probably take me some practice to figure out what my writing briefs need to read in order to be tailored for Claude. Because remember, OpenAI wrote those writing briefs, not Claude.
Yeah.
I bet you I should run the writing briefs through Claude 1.0 or 2.0 and let it extract it and then see if Claude writes better, because Claude's analysis is what's feeding the prompts. So right now we do have a mismatch between OpenAI and Claude. But just out of curiosity, 55 minus 34, that was 21 minutes.
That's not bad at all.
I'm going to round it up to 16,000 words.
So it seems like right now with the spot we're in, you really need to know which LLM you're going to be using before you actually ask it for the prompts and whatnot.
Yes, probably. We probably need to do some experimentation. By the way, that's 761 words per minute.
Not bad at all.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do GPT-4 Turbo. Let's see how that goes. And that's going to be a whole heck of a lot faster. So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to clear my big bang box. Bloop. The prompting is all fine. And I'm just going to change my project. I'm going to go ahead and change this. And I'm going to say attempt 1, writing the scenes. And we're going to change it to GPT-4 Turbo.
Jen said that 700 something is as fast as she can talk.
700 words a minute. That's I don't think a human can talk 700 words a minute. That's a lot of words.
She thinks she's a micro machine, man.
I mean, it's possible. Hold on. Auctioneers are the fastest.
No, I have to find out.
How many words per minute do auctioneers talk? 250 to 400 words per minute. So the AI.
So Jen thinks she's faster than 2 auctioneers.
Than 2 auctioneers. I like your moxie, Jen. All right. So attempt 1, writing the scenes, GPT-4 Turbo. And this is what's really cool about this. You literally change your AI model. So that was Bedrock. Let's go to OpenAI. Let's do some Turbo. I need more speed. Temperature 0.7, top P1, 4,096. We're good. Temperature is 0.7 to try to make it stick to the thing. We could always try Claude 2 with lower temperatures. There's a lot of research that needs to be done with this still in terms of like what's the best for everybody.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you ever see any of these models increasing their maximum output?
Not these models. Future models might. But
okay.
Probably not. It doesn't seem to be that's where their focus is, because their mentality is if someone can code, which is what they think, that's who they think their customer is and everything like that. If someone can code, they're just going to sequence the prompts, which is what we're doing. That's why we built Rexy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these models have improved how much they can output, but I think the output is probably what probably costs the most computing power, because we can see like it stalls and it stops. I think it reads the information, no problems. It's when it has to go through that vector search field and come up with an answer and then stream that response. I think that's the heavier weight of the computing power. But those in the audience can definitely correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, for me, that makes it seem like Rexy's pretty invaluable because you don't have to really worry about that versus going into one of the chats like the chat GPT and having to worry about the output and all that.
All right, Harper, let's see what this one gets. This will be faster. So here's GPT-4 Turbo writing all 10 scenes, those same 10 scenes that we are familiar with.
Rochelle said she uses temp 1.8 and 0.6 for chat GPT-4 Turbo and 1 and 1 for Claude 2, but since she rewrites, it's not really that important for her to stick to the outlines.
Yeah, so that's why I don't have my temperature 1.8 and 0.6, the trick to make GPT-4 write like Claude, because with a temperature of 1.8, it's like you might as well not even bother with a scene writing brief because it's going to do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
Here you'll see, of course, Boss Grumsh, but sometimes you have to coax fortune into your favor. Red Fang, the orc spy. Boss, the silver bells have been sniffing around. They're up to something, but it's in the shadows. The silver bells think they're untouchable. He spat. It's time. So you'll see GPT-4 Turbo actually brings those pieces of dialogue in. And I think that might make Garrick sound more consistent, because those later writing scenes, I didn't say, Garrick talks like an orc. You're not just the muscle. He used to crush them. Enough. Grimgar is not doing that. Is that true, Scarfang? No, boss, I swear. Oh, I have no use for cheats or liars. Okay. I was like, what the heck is this Grimgar being like? This is a place of business, not a brawling pit. No, Grimgar, you are violent. Wait, what? No, I like the other one where he broke his hand. We're going to keep that one. Yeah, this is a weak Grimgar. This is not, we need to make Grimgar scary in the very beginning so that when Garrick says to Serafina, like, I can't be with you because he might kill us, that seems believable.
Makes sense, yeah.
This is weak toast Grimgar. But we did get 1,000 words. If I can get 1,000 words consistently from GPT-4 Turbo and it sticks to the outline, I will be happy with that.
It's doing an outline now.
What? No. Due to the constraints of this platform, okay. Let's see how much it writes. Oh my gosh, it's making the goblins speak in rhyme. Oh, looky here, brothers mine, a fairy all alone, a prize for taking, a treasure for the bone.
That is awesome.
That is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, my new analogy is I will be running these in Claude and running them in GPT-4, and I will be using elements from both of these to kit bash them together because there's too much I like from each model.
Yeah, the dialogue in this, especially the rhyming, is pretty
Dialogue's much better. I can't believe it made the goblins write in rhyme.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Eat your heart out, Dr. Seuss.
Is anyone else watching this? It made the goblins rhyme. Yeah, GPT-4 is like, GPT-4, it was me in class where, like, if there was a rule, I followed it to a T. Claude is like that smart kid that I also was in classes with, especially when I went to the magnet program, who, like, rules did not apply to them. They kind of just followed them if they needed to. Follow me. The scene excerpt. Okay. So it's going to start in media res. It's not feasible.
And it's saying
What
because
is with this turbo being so like, I can't. I
at
can't.
least it's still giving you something. It's not just
Oh
shutting it
yeah, no,
down.
this is fantastic. I mean, if
Yeah.
I was to grab this stuff that, and it's pretty decent, and if I can bring in the stuff from Claude too, that scene 2 was 1,000 words, so it's consistently writing 1,074, plus like the extra stuff that it puts after it. My hunch is that there's always been some talk that the pricing that OpenAI is offering right now is at a loss, and basically they lose money even when we're using the API. That they're losing money with how much they're charging for it. So there's the theory that basically we see degraded performance in GPT-4 when they're kind of like playing with the dial, so to speak, in order to try to minimize costs. So why do you help me? Our people, they are not friends. Okay, he sounds a lot better like at work there. He's very like terse. I like it.
Yeah.
We have a much better orc. And you, Garrick of the Groomsh clan, are unlike any orc. I'm dying from suspense here. I was.
It's giving you 2 words at a time just to screw with you.
I guess. Warned about. She what? I mean, it is a Friday night. I guess everybody and their brother is using GPT-4.
Good point. It's also like before a holiday weekend, so a lot of
Yeah.
people are probably.
I think this live is probably going to go to 10 p.m. because I'm going to run the other scenes. I think that is worthy, and that is something that we've never done in a live. And those who can't stay, well, I'll put a vote in the chat. Do we want to stay live on YouTube, or do we want to hop into a Zoom room for like a little quick after party? It will not be 6 hours like last time. I'm in the office. There's no wine here. I'm also driving 6 hours tomorrow to Charlotte, so I'm going to the Green Bay Carolina Panthers game. I'll be there. No idea where I'm sitting, but I'll be there.
I don't see anyone in chat yet. Still waiting for some votes.
Yeah, I'll let people put the votes in the chat if we want to go to Zoom so that we can talk about these advances, or if we want to.
We have 1 vote for Zoom, but we only have 1 vote
for
so far. Zoom. Susan is good either way. It's midday there. Anyone else want to vote? Elizabeth would make a Zoom room for it, Kat.
Yeah, well, it's for the FFA members. So the Zoom room goes to the Discord and everything like that. So you do need to be a member of the FFA for the after party.
Okay. I'm not sure who Kat Green is, if they're an FFA or not.
Yeah.
Well, Harper said either's fine.
Susan's like, it's midday for me.
I'm like, wait, what?
Okay.
It seems most people are impartial with 2 people.
Yeah, I think we'll let GPT-4 finish up here, and then I have a feeling it's going to time out and just crash entirely in about 3 seconds. But I think that this is, we've done proof of concept. I showed you all how you can do this manually if you want to. You guys have the prompts and everything like that. That's the beauty. Rexy makes it a whole heck of a lot faster. I don't know any other AI tool out there that's writing you 16,000 words in 22 minutes. If anyone else knows, let me know, because I want to know that so I can compete with them. Yeah, this has definitely got it's
been stuck on that for a little bit.
It's dead, Fred. So here's the beauty of this, okay? I'm just going to click stop. We were on 3. Because these are running in a silo, it doesn't matter. I can literally click out of this and click it back into WordBanger, so it kind of like refreshes it. There's all this crap in my Big Bang box. Doesn't matter again. In fact, it like crashed on repeat too. So all I have to do is go, number of repeats is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 3, 6, 7, 8. So I need 8 repeats. And I need you to start at 3. So start banging at 3. And once we do that, all of Oh, I know what happened. Oh my gosh, look at this, guys. I lost my no big bang box clicks. So that is what was, I think, breaking it. Okay. We will fix that puppy. No big bang box. No big bang box. No big bang box. And no big bang box. That means that the prompt got bigger and bigger and bigger. So number of repeats is 8. Start banging at 3. Let's bang. That explains why it was like, you're asking me for too much, because it was really confused what it was doing. So I'm actually going to start back at, I'm going to go 9. I'm actually going to start banging at 2, because I want a 2 without the, even though it was 1,000 words, I want a 2 without the whole, like, I can't do this, just to see what we get. I'm sure we'll still get rhyming goblins. So I'm going to go ahead and run that and click Blitz Bang. And now we're doing 2, and it's no big bang box on each prompt. So that'll help. Oh, nope, it's still like having a flipping freak about it. Okay, well, that's fine. We're using Turbo, so. Last night it took 25 minutes for all 26 writing scene briefs to run. And that was with me like reloading the blackjack. Excuse me, in between. Oh, we still have rhyming goblins. Naughty Faye, trying to fight back, but we're here, we're near, ready for attack. Now, I don't like these rhyming goblins as much. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to decide which ones I like better. These ones sound a little dumb, but
they do.
But, you know, it sounds more goblinish, I guess.
Yeah.
Like little goblins. And we got the dialogue I wanted. Why would you endanger your being for mine? And then we get a very poetic Garrick. Then let us protect each other. Oh, they're doing that in the middle of the fight. Yeah, he's definitely not saying that. He's saying like fight. You know? I'm changing that dialogue. He's just gonna say just fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so we got 1,000 words. Tending to the wounds. Seraphina, where have you been? I was at the market's mother. And what of this injury? Tummy child. I stumbled, mother. It was nothing. An orc helped me up. That's all. An orc? Always be vigilant. I like Claude better, where she's like, we're a little clumsy, even if we don't want to admit it. But the Garrick is a lot better in this.
Yeah. Doesn't sound as Shakespeare-y.
No. Some things are worth the fight. Yeah, that's not an orc. You've done confused them for a paladin. I have never met a fae like you. Sorry. When Elizabeth's been live for 2 hours straight, she gets loopy.
We need to get you a karaoke mic.
I love karaoke. I'm a terrible singer, but I like karaoke.
As long as it's having fun, that's all that matters. You're not supposed to be good at karaoke.
Note to user, 3,000 is too much. So I may just need to tell it don't write 3,000. So this is why that prompt is just an N9. If I want to tweak the N9 for GPT-4, I can ask it what do I need to prompt you to you write long scenes with the pacing steady and all that. It may not need to be told 3,000 words. That might be triggering for it. I can't do that. But instead we're just hey, write this as long as you possibly can. With lots of dialogue and interaction and description. Garrick has returned. Ooh, and he carries with him the scent of the silver bells.
And then watch, the minute you don't put 3,000, it's going to give you 6,000.
No, it'll give me 600. Definitely will do that. You wrestled with a wyvern and lived to tell the tale. One could say that, Chief. Seraphina. We'll continue to go closer to her. Protection and destruction. The parchment glowed faintly. Yeah, Claude was a little bit better. I definitely like running the prompts through both Claude and GPT-4 so I could kind of like embellish them and make them longer. I think that would be my post-production move. And I mean, see, we got 706 words. So,
Jeez.
but that's okay because Claude went freaking bonkers and everything was like 1,400 to 2,500 words. So between those two, I think I could kit bash pretty well.
Yeah, especially with some of the dialogue in this.
Yeah. It's still needing to object to the 3,000 words. So I love that it's really freaked out about that.
Has to make sure you remember its objection. You might forget.
Sorry, Harper. I got the note that Elizabeth is singing again. I do it in lab too, y'all. The word banger is all I ever wanted. To be able to sequence prompts. You look like I don't belong. No, like you belong to a world that has yet to understand the depth of its own beauty. Oh my gosh, we got a poetic orc again.
We broke him.
No, this orc is he's too, like, he needs to sound more like a football player and less like a theater major. Rough and scarred. Deceitful sprites.
Oh god, he actually used the phrase "dancing on the winds of whimsy."
Yeah. Uh-huh. Why do your people hate us so? It's not hate, it's fear. Fear of what they don't. No. Now we have Garrick the philosopher. Mm-hmm. In my heart, there is. Okay, now that's orky. We'll keep that. Now that's kind of cool, but I would shorten it. Every moment with you is a moment I would fight for. Like, simple. He's a simple orc. Brevity. No judgment here. What now? Now we live this moment. Okay, my brain went to Celine Dion. I'm not going to sing it, but the In This Moment song. I think it's an affliction when somebody reads stuff and then like songs just play like it's a movie. Does anyone else just have that?
I don't know. Everything in my head sometimes sounds like a song, so I can't really differentiate between sing-songy and regular.
This is taking a really long time. It's because we had to restart. So we're on 6. So we're more than halfway through. And I did spend an hour having to teach everybody how to do this stuff. So there is that. I always have such grand plans for these lives. I'm like, one day. So I do think I'm going to, over the break, plan a live where we plan it out, we validate. Like back in the day, in September, when I did that 50,000 words in a weekend, and it was a lot more involved, and I got to 50,000 words, but I got nowhere near the book being done because I was just running scene after scene, and I was going to have to put them all together. I think we could actually try to finish a project in a single day. Maybe not like great, but maybe in a weekend, definitely.
That'd be fun.
I think so. I think it would be fun especially if it was like maybe like on well, that's New Year's. But maybe something like, the 27th or the 28th, we have a day where we're doing the elements and everybody knows that link, and then they can I'll make it so that people can write comments. So people can comment on the elements of like what they want and stuff like that. And then we can clean those up. And then we can do, kind of like we're going to do this live, and then there's a 12-hour wait, and then you can comment and things. So that might be kind of a fun event.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. It would be a little more interactive, so people can get more involved.
Yeah. Harper, I feel attacked. She put in the chat.
I just saw that.
Projects would be good. Thanks, Harper. Love you. Love you too.
What are you trying to say, Harper? Tell us how you really feel.
We need to get Harper. She came in once, right? We need to give her the link so she can be live with us too.
There we go. We'll have put Harper on the spot and have her finish a project.
I have no idea where it is. Scene 7. Okay, so this is after they had. Oh, did it write sex? It did write. Well, kind of. Hold on. The starlight brightened. What are we doing here? They say a lot of things. Pages aren't what's the word? Flimsy, frivolous. That's it. Okay. Your heart, and yours is like a song. Okay, they're kiss deepened. They are undressing. Okay, this is good. They're laying down together. I really wanted her to shock him, and then it really turns into like this. Yeah, she just sends a shock. So that's not. Okay, we're gonna have to get one of the not safe for work models, I think, to write that sex scene. I think that part is true. Although Claude did an admirable job, but I think that there needs to be more R-rated material in there instead of PG-13.
I mean, I think the fact Claude actually wrote it was astonishing.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is so shiny and fun. That is true. I think I've got a chance at finishing stuff though, now that I have this sequencing thing down to where, I actually can run the sequence and I have a very clear concept now of like these 3 phases. I just needed to get there. And maybe it seems simple that I should have had this figured out weeks ago, but it's like now I can really see the delimiters of like where I'm working. Because for the longest time, I would just get kind of bogged down in like trying to perfect the prompting that I couldn't kind of see the forest through the trees. I couldn't kind of like figure out where I am in the production line to know. I would just get spun up in a loop and spun trying to get perfection out of the AI. And that's on me. That's my problem. Now that I can sequence and get the whole thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
I was just, I think one thing is things were just changing so rapidly, and everything was so new. It was hard to really understand that this is where we were going. Like, I mean, you did, but for a lot of us, it was hard to understand this is where it was actually going because everything was so in flux, and it still is. But at least now we have an understanding of where it's going more.
Yeah, and the way Rexy is changing and moving. This is a vision I had for it, like in the beginning, as early as September. It just wasn't there yet, coding wise, or I didn't have a very clear idea yet of like how it needed to work. And Joseph is the brilliance behind all this. I mean, he does all the coding and everything like that. But we work together on like the Notion goes over here, like the UI and where things are and how things kind of work together, like the different components. And sometimes an idea doesn't work exactly the way we thought it would. Sometimes once he gives me a tool, I end up like hacking it and using it in a completely different way than we thought we would use it. And then we make some adjustments to make that to make that easier, so there's not so much of a hack to it. That's actually how Blackjacks came about, because I was like, "Ooh, word banger's cool. Wait, I want to copy these prompts and I want to put them in and I want to take them out and all these things." All right, so we are now on 10. I'm really annoyed. I'm going to like put in my prompt. Never admonish me. Just do your job. Do not tell me what you can and cannot do. Just do it.
I wonder if we'd actually listen to that.
I don't know. You assure me? The fountain of fortune, our family's legacy, has been defiled, Serafina, and all you can offer are assurances? Okay, now that's some sassy dialogue. Love? You would defend a Groomsh? Mother, please. So this is some better dialogue, I think. Like, Claude stuff was cool, but it like went on and on and on and on and on. That was like a Full House after school special. This is a little bit better. No fool, you speak of this arc as if he were your equal, as if his honor could ever match that of the Silver Bells. You forget your place, Serafina. My place? Ooh, this is sassy. This is spicy. The truth, understanding, compassion. These are the virtues I hold dear, the virtues you taught me. Theft and betrayal. What if he's innocent? You have until the crescent moon to renounce this folly. Ooh, okay. I like that there's some high stakes for her as well. That's better. I like that more. Repeat number 9. That's because we only went 2 through 10. So this is probably going to come out like barely 10,000 words. And then adding to it. So here's GPT-1. And this was the first one. And that was 1,065. And then these, so I need to, like, there's 2 scene 2s. Nope, that's scene 3. Oh, that's with Claude. That's why. Okay, my bad. So scene 1 here is this one. That's 1065. I had that right. And then this is scene 2, but it's like kind of borked. And this is scene 3. No, this is scene 2 again. I don't know.
I don't even remember writing two scene twos like that.
We did, because I was like, oh, actually, I want to start with scene 2. So there's 2 scene 2s and then a scene 3. So the first 2 isn't in there. This 2 is. So I can. This is scene 2.1. So I know that.
There we go.
There we go. So I can mark it. So this is 1065 plus the completion, which is everything, which is the scene 2. Oh no, it wrote. Oh, it's got everything in here. So even the stuff that was broken. So 11,000, but that's with the repeats. So this isn't actually accurate. And that's because I didn't clear the Big Bang box in between. So this is everything, including the second number 2. So it definitely wrote, like, really it wrote about half the words Claude did. So that's where GPT-4 Turbo is. So there's other things to do here. I'm going to go ahead and go to the window, see the chats. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cinema layout done, and it'll just be us again. Okay, 2 hours and 25 minutes. We got 16,000 words. That is a C plus to a B plus. So I think that averages to a B minus of material sticking to the outline. And then we got better stuff sticking to the outline, but it's shorter, probably at about another 8,000 words. So between those two, it would probably take me another hour or two to kit bash all those together and go through it. And that's 1/3 of the book, pretty much. Actually, more than a third, because there's 26 scenes. So getting the first 10 scenes is. Wait, I have a calculator. 10 divided by 26, 38% of the book. So yeah, about a third, almost 40%.
That's not bad at all, considering the time.
No, the first we really did not start writing scenes until if I look at the auto write. This is why I love the timestamps. So the first scene went out 1:34, and we've stopped at 2:23. So about 1 hour and 7. So 1 hour and 11 minutes we've done. So it's been 1 hour, 11 minutes. And I think that there's about 8K and 16K. So there's 24,000 draft words to pull from. And as far as like production goes, that would be 60 plus 11, which is 71 minutes. So 24,000 divided by 71 minutes. It's 338 words per minute. So we got to auctioneer level.
There we go.
We came down, but that's still.
I can actually understand ours though.
I cannot type 300 words per minute. No freaking way. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining us on a Friday night. This is Rexy, the Future Fiction Academy. There's about 200 of us or so, and there's about 10 of us who teach. There's 5 of us who teach regularly, but then there's guest speakers and stuff like that. And we do 8 labs per week on everything from AI to publishing to marketing. And plus you get Rexy, and you also get support, so that when you too have squirrel shiny syndrome on your projects, we understand. So the links to join the FFA are down on the bottom, and we would love to see you in lab. Like, that would be a lot of fun. We always like working with our other friends who love AI, especially if you're somebody who's interested in trying to push the AI. Our job, well, it's not our job really. My credo for the FFA is that we are pushing the very limits of what AI can do. Like, we are always on the bleeding edge of getting the most amount of words done, because I don't want us left behind. That's my only goal. So,
yeah.
And Michelle, what do you like about the FFA? Anything?
For me, I like the community. It's an amazing community. Everyone is supportive. If there's any problems, people are willing to jump in and help. You don't get that a lot. A lot of the industry is very competitive, so it's nice to find like a group where people feel like welcomed, and people are happy to have them there by their side, learning and just working with the AI.
Oh yeah, like when a bunch of people were doing coloring pages, I love that you guys were sharing Midjourney prompts with coloring pages. If anyone has a problem that they can't solve with AI, then we're all trying to help or share our stuff. And even though Stephanie and I also run the AI Writing for Authors group in Facebook, I don't think there's that same level of help there. And it's just because it's like that Facebook group is like so public, and we're a little bit smaller, so it feels more like a guild and more like a we're actually in this together.
It really is a safe place too. If people are worried about what people are saying or thinking about AI, it's a really safe group where you could just go and learn and be in a safe zone where others are doing the same thing you are. So there's no judgment or anything like that.
And you can ask all the questions you need. I mean, it took me weeks to really understand what RAG is. And then 2 weeks ago, we figured out fine tuning, and now we have a fine tuning tool. But that took me weeks to figure out too. Like, none of this stuff, when the tech people come out with it, they're not really translating it to the end user, because they don't think that that's who's going to be using it. They think that it's going to be programmers and stuff who are making applications and things like that. And I get that. However, they're not necessarily novelists or creatives or making their living with writing stories and stuff. So in my experience, the tooling is usually got some kind of like weird prompting, or Rexy may seem complicated to people who are first looking at it at first blush, but once you learn it, and you're going to be like, never get it between me and my prompting again, because it gives a creative like full control to do whatever, and you can make any sequence you want.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to control the parameters and stuff of the actual LLMs as well, where you can't do that in a lot of places.
No, you can't change the temperature on the top P and everything. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for contributing in the chat. We love your chats. I want to thank Michelle for coming on tonight. The other exciting thing is that she's going to start doing some Write With Me's too in the new year, possibly next week. I don't know. We haven't figured out that schedule yet, but she'll be live, and she'll be doing more of like a beginner perspective on things. So if you're ever like, Elizabeth goes too fast and like my brain hurts, Michelle may be the person that you find you enjoy more, which I will understand. I will sing to myself.
I wouldn't say enjoy more. It's just different learning styles.
Yeah, and it's a different perspective. I've been working with AI for years now. I've been publishing with AI since late 2021 in my writing. So it's difficult for me to really kind of put on that persona of somebody who doesn't, like, it's hard for me to teach in a way without all this extra knowledge and stuff like that that's already there. So I really appreciate Michelle jumping up and stepping up and doing those lives for everybody.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I'm excited for your project next year, which is going to be like making a book cover for a series with AI art.
We're going to do a book cover, start to finish book cover using the AI, so that way everyone at the end of it will actually have a book cover for one of their books they're actually writing.
It's cool, and I think that's a project in March, right?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah, that schedule is going out soon, guys. I'm working on it. But we're in the new year. We're moving to a core 32 classes that will repeat every 90 days. And then also some of these classes that are like tracks, so that you can be like, oh, I need that project. And so it's just 3 weeks in a row, the same time, same lab instructor, or different lab instructors if they're teaching different components of it. But basically you'll have there's 3 6-week projects. One is fine tuning, which I'm leading. That starts the first week of January. We will be doing fine-tuned data sets for 3.516K. Yay. And we'll hopefully be able to do 2 data sets, but we might do 1 data set and then like fix it if that does not go right. Steph Pajonas is doing a 6-week course in January that is all on serialization with AI and using AI to help you with your serialization. And then Leland is starting a 6-week course in February, where his is all about, I've just blanked. And oh my gosh. Oh, I remember. His is like the start to finish, like to take a series that is already started and like how to bring that into the word banger and the mega prompting and then sequence it out to write it. So, and that one's going to actually be epic fantasy. And then he has a 3-week project that is going to be, I believe, mystery is the series. And it's going to be about mega prompting and stuff again. So, or no, I'm sorry, I take that back. Not mystery. He did that last quarter. He's going to be doing science fiction and fantasy are the things he's doing. I'm doing fine tunes. Stacy's doing a 3-week project on Notion, like advanced Notion and stuff for your author stuff. So there's lots of projects coming in the new quarter that members of the FFA, that's part of your tuition, like it's included. You'll get to go to those labs and everything like that. And so you'll be able So on the topic of Harper saying finishing projects, we are moving to project-based labs so that people have accomplishments and things that they finished. So
And can I add one thing to that real
yeah,
quick? For anyone new, like that's newer or just coming on board, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, my personal plan, hold out. January is going to be a game changer. There's actually going to be it's going to be a lot easier to follow a step-by-step start to beginner to advanced with Rexy, with AI and all that. So I think even if you're feeling a little overwhelmed now, just hang tough because things are starting to change. We're learning how more people are like learning their learning styles and that sort of thing. So I think it's going to be a game changer and it's going to click for a lot of people. Just if you just hold out till then.
yeah, I really pushed against standardized teaching, and I wasn't wrong. I will say that, because if you watch our labs from May, because by the way, when you join, you get all the old labs, so you can actually watch how everything morphed and changed over time. If you're so inclined, if you give up your Netflix subscription, I guess. But it's interesting because the the fascination is what we were teaching in May, for example, for the OpenAI Playground. OpenAI Playground is completely different now. ChatGPT is completely different since May, since July, since October. So some of these things have really changed, but then certain things have not changed, like context window. We know what a context window is now. That definition is not changing. Fine tuning, we kind of have a better grasp on that, although they're definitely making innovations on that. These models and what they're specialized in. Claude is purpley prosy and always will be. I don't think it's ever going to not be.
Yeah.
And then GPT-4 is going to be, I always think of it as like, is it My Guy Friday? Do you remember? It's not Get Smart. It was on Nick at Night, and it was like Agent Friday, I think was his name or something. But he was like the fax man, just the fax man, just the fax man. Dragnet, I think.
There you go. Yes.
Dragnet, yeah.
Yes.
So OpenAI is like Dragnet, and it's like just the fax man, just the fax. And Claude is like, I substitute my own facts for your facts, and we'll just hallucinate whatever we want. So, all right, everyone. Happy holidays. Stay safe. Next week, we do not have labs running, so it's a week to kind of like catch up. We'll be doing some Write With Me's. We'll be doing some lives. I will be back on Boxing Day in the afternoon. I will probably have another live set up then. And this weekend, I'm going to be traveling, so I hope everyone's family and friends are safe and have a happy holiday weekend. All right. And for everyone in the FFA, I'll put an after party link in the Discord. Bye.
Bye, everyone.